whose notification is that?
That was something that I recognized, though.
What do you mean something I recognize? We're Persona 5. It's not like it's old.
Oh, that's P5. Okay.
Yeah, it's P5.
Okay.
Yeah, it's my ringtone.
You think you're old? Persona 5 is 4 years old. That's how you know it's old.
I had my great revelation of the passage of time, realizing that I've been watching Sugar Conroy for like a decade. That was my thing, like yesterday.
Oh my god. Was that like at least like a nostalgic realization, or was it one of those moments of like, oh my god, what has my life become?
A bit of both, because like someone posted about like, they were like, holy crap, his Platinum Let's Play's 5 years old, and then I was like, what was my first Let's Play? I was like, I started watching him when he was like doing Pikmin 2, like 9 years ago.
So what's really funny about that is I don't actually know how you feel about Let's Plays, David. I'm 27 and I have actually never ever seen a single Let's Play in my entire life. Like, I've seen clips, I've seen like bits of Game Grumps, but I've never just sat down and watched someone beat a game from start to finish in like a Let's Play format.
Oh, that's the same thing for me. Never. I'd rather listen to I listen to so many podcasts. It's crazy. You definitely think I'm crazy.
I had someone actually like call me out recently because like I will shit on Let's Players in the sense of like not for like people who like do Let's Playing, but like in the sense of like people who experience like games only through Let's Plays, like that's the only way they've experienced it. Like it just really boggles my mind. It was funny, someone like came up to me and was like, hey man, that's like really elitist because like what if they can't afford it or whatever. And it goes into like a personal thing, like for me of like I would rather have never have experienced game X through someone else if I could save that experience for myself. But like that's just like a me thing. Like I know so many people have like grown up with like I bet you there are probably just as many kids who watch like stuff like Minecraft or like other Let's Plays like on like a daily basis and have either never touched the game and are just like, oh, I just like watching it, which like blows my mind.
It depends on what it is for me, because like I mean, like especially like when I was younger, like Let's Plays was like something I just watched a ton, but I always liked trying to also play the game myself eventually, because like I watched a full Let's Play of Persona 4 Golden before I touched the game, and that's what got me into Persona. But I did eventually play the game for myself and obviously loved it. Same with like Pikmin and a lot of Zelda games and stuff like I got into first through YouTube and then playing it.
Like the only kind of cases where like it sort of works in my head where like I really really get it is like, okay, for something like maybe if it's like a game I don't have or it's like it's kind of rare, like situations like that, it makes more sense for me of like, oh yeah, because like then at that point you're basically just going through like, I mean, am I gonna pick up a copy of Karate Kid for the NES? Like, no, I'll just watch someone play it for a little bit and like do stuff like that. But it's like the more story heavy stuff. Like I can't ever imagine playing like a Telltale game like through watching someone. Like that's a weird thing for me.
Yeah, it's why like and like there are certain Let's Players where like I don't like watching them play certain types of games. Like I adore Game Grumps. They're like one of my favorite channels ever. Like they're a massive inspiration for me.
I'm like actually curious.
Not a ton. I like their second channel more now, where like they do 10-minute Power Hour and stuff. Because like I do not want to watch them play Danganronpa. That is a type of game I don't want to watch Danny and Aaron play as much as I love Danganronpa and Game Grumps.
Do you think there's anyone out there who's like, oh dude, like you just gotta like I'm just imagining if there's someone out there who's like, oh dude, Aaron's opinions on games, they're like wine, they just get better with age.
What I've always said about Aaron, because like this is what me and Adam both agree with. If he actually sits down and writes a script, it's great because sequelitis is really good. It's just that he doesn't really do that anymore. So just listening to an opinion through Game Grumps, just you're kind of like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I also like find it really funny of like I think people give Ego Raptor like he's like I'm sure there's other YouTubers out there. He is like such the definition of coasting on like what like what he's like known for, you know. It's like no one like even with Game Grumps, it's like, oh, why is Game Grumps popular? Oh, because Ego Raptor used to do stuff like sequelitis or blah 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 Ashems. Like, when do you think the last time Ego Raptor like actually animated something like for real, just sat down and drew something himself?
I'm trying to remember what it actually was. I think the last one was like he might have done like a music video for Starbomb. He might have done one of those. I don't remember. Otherwise, it was probably like
God,
an
yeah, it's probably when he helped out, with Dinosaur Laser Fight. That's funny.
Yeah.
Well,
I
no, you're right.
What
No,
guys
sorry,
are
you
talking
said
about.
Starbomb. So yeah, I
Yeah.
think he like did some overview stuff for like some of the other things I have. Man, if you want to like think of like a band where you look back on and go like, wow, I unironically listened to Starbomb way more than any adult should. Like I have both like the first two albums like signed and everything, and I went back and listened to Starbomb, and it was one of those things of like, ooh, that's You know what? I'm glad I have these for history's sake, but I'm probably not going to go back and marathon through Starbomb albums anytime soon.
Like I enjoy Starbomb from like a humor perspective, but it's not really something I listen to like as music. Unlike NSP, which is like one of my favorite bands.
That's the weirdest thing. Yeah, like I have never had like Ninja Sex Party has never had that thing for me of like, this is a little cringy, or like, oh, I can't really get like. I will still laugh at the writing in their songs, and I still love the actual composition of them all, which is what's so funny of literally, but. Like Ninja Sex Party has all these things I really, really appreciate, but then at the same time, literally just adding in Aaron, it like just somehow ruins it for me, and it's weird because I have nothing against Aaron, but like just something about it just throws off the formula. And it might not even be Aaron. It could just be because it is hard to make comedy in music work really well. It's especially hard when you limit it to only about video games.
Yeah. Because like NSP really works well because like it's not even like just humor about sex; it's humor about just weird shit sometimes. You know, like they'll write a whole song about cookies for some reason. Like that's what I really like about NSP.
David, tell me one Ninja Sex Party song, just so I know that you've not been in the dark for the last 20 minutes.
I have no clue about what you guys are talking about.
Okay,
Absolutely
we're going to
no
end this.
freaking clue.
We're going to end this episode, Michelle. I want you and me to like think in the back of our heads this whole episode. What's like the one Ninja Sex Party song we should show David for the first time? Like we have to make a really good first impression with him. So
I always think like either Cool Patrol or Danny Don't You Know are like a good starts for me.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of the newer stuff is like you can't just like throw someone like accidental accidental erection or whatever the hell it's like called like for like oh yeah man just let me throw you right into this.
Listen to Objects of Desire, it'll be funny.
Yeah, I was literally trying to think of Object of Desire, but all I could think about in my head was humping kitchen equipment.
Yeah, that one.
Okay, well, hey, that's enough talking about kitchen equipment. David, since the original plan of this, like I said, was for 3 podcasts to come together, and now it is 2 podcasts coming together in a very, very awesome streamer, Michelle here. It's going to be a little bit different, so I figured, do you want to, like, basically introduce ourselves kind of like we did last time of, like, we just go through whatever episode number you're on, we go to whatever episode number I'm on, and then we just get into it? Or how do you want to start this thing?
I mean, we're live already. Is an introduction really necessary?
100%, because I'm editing this afterwards.
Oh, okay.
I'm not.
So, yeah,
listen. I put a lot of garbage in this show. I'm not gonna start episode 201 with skip to the 10-minute mark for if you don't want to listen about Ninja Sex Party rants and Let's Plays.
Alrighty. So yeah, we can do it. You're 201, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm episode 10, my dude.
You're almost there. Give it a year. You'll be there.
We'll see. We'll see about that.
Well, I will let you start because I feel like I always like absolutely hijack all the conversation. So please, you start, and then I'll go on, and then we can just give Michelle the floor for like a 30-minute soapbox about January.
All right. So what's up, everyone? Believe it or not, after 10 minutes, we're actually going to talk about Atlus today. So we're going to talk discussions, predictions. Atlus, we're 3 people on stream. Should be really interesting. And you are listening to Shin Megami Tensei Network, episode 201.
And this is the... Now, I know you probably never call it this. By the way, everyone, I'm Spencer. David, have you ever referred to your podcast in short as DAP? I really hope you have.
I didn't, but go ahead and do it. There's a free line for everything.
I'm just thinking, like, what's the most like cursed like way to refer to the Demon Appreciation like podcast? It's just like, yeah, man, it's just DAP, you know. It definitely has no association to any other moments or songs from 2020.
2021, we can do whatever we want. DAP episode 10. Let's go, baby.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, thank you all for being here. I say thank you. I haven't even actually properly introduced. Yeah, our third person here. I need to bring it on over to Twitch streamer and potential Fortnite skin, Michelle.
Hi, I'm here again. I didn't have anything else happening tonight, so I'll talk about Atlus. It's the only thing I do on a regular basis anyway.
Michelle, you've just found out that Joker is coming to Fortnite? Do you download it?
I do have trash brain, so probably.
All right, good. Listen, I was playing Fortnite earlier today, so there's no judgment in this house for Fortnite fun.
Mm-hmm.
David, same question goes to you. Joker and Fortnite. Do you A, download Fortnite, and then do you B, buy it? I'm sorry, Michelle, I just assumed you already would. If you already downloaded it, I'm thinking that $20 is already down the drain.
I'm not downloading it. I'm just gonna use Sonic Forces as an example.
No
Sonic is in,
way.
Joker is in.
No
and I didn't
way.
buy it, so.
No way. Sonic Forces, like, people will, like, you can, like, make fun of AFK Arena or whatever, like, crossover, like, happens with Persona. Sonic Forces, hilariously, while still being a Sega property, is the worst and laziest collaboration that series has ever had.
It is.
It's up there. Because that's the thing, like, a lot of other ones, like, there's at least, like, a lot of original art done for it, like, that's really cool, and, like, a lot of them have, like, original music done and shit, and, like, covers of the songs or whatever. Sonic Force is just like, alright, here's a very bad outfit for your Sonic OC.
What I really loved I found this when I did my Tokyo Mirage Sessions video yesterday. I was going through official footage for Encore, and in the launch trailer, specifically in the EU version, not in America, not in Japan, for the launch trailer of Encore, it literally ends it with, like, even after the Nintendo, like, little bumper at the end where it shows the system in the game, it has 1 second of Joker just, like, being like, "Hey, baby," and then it just ends. And I'm like, that immediately to me made that DLC, that free costume even better. Just for the fact that someone at Nintendo was self-aware enough to be like, hey, this is a dumb costume. But, like, if you lean into it being a dumb costume, it's not cringy. Whereas, like, the Sonic one being pre-order bonus, like, that was even worse. Like, you went out of your way to make this more difficult to obtain. One of these days, we need to, like, I think when, like, Persona 5 is truly sunsetted, we need to, like, start doing, like, a tier list of every appearance Persona 5 made in multiple games. Because, like, say what you will about P4, P4 didn't really go into other games that much.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. Well, we're already off to a great start talking about tier lists, Let's Plays, and Ninja Sex Party. But the entire reason if someone is made it into the chat or is listening and is wondering what the heck are we doing here, we're talking about Atlus. And we're specifically talking about Atlus in the year 2021, which still doesn't seem like the real year we're living in right now. So the way we're going to do this to make it as not terrible as possible is we're going to go month by month. And basically, each one of us has one prediction we're going to line up for each month. And then I figured the easiest way to do this is just to kind of go alphabetical. So we'll do David first, Michelle, and then me. And then just kind of go like that until we get to December, which hopefully will not take 19 hours. So, without further ado, no pressure. David, what is your first prediction for a month that is already over halfway done? What will Atlus do in January?
I'm on the spot, huh?
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, I don't expect much. Precisely the one thing that we might see before the end of the month, and as you can see, I'm using might because I don't think it's very likely. Maybe we could see some type of partner showcase from Nintendo. I think that's more likely to be February, though, but maybe that could happen for January, and we could see Atlus stuff in it. Should I say what I think we could see?
Oh, say it, man. This whole podcast is to get as weird, nasty, and dirty as possible.
All right, so I'm going to go all in that case. So, January, partner showcase or regular direct, but I think a partner showcase is more likely, and I think we're going to see a date for Nocturne, and I'm going to go all in. Very accurate. Get ready. And Atlus West is going to drop a video at the same time once the partner showcase is finished, with a trailer being a Nocturne HD release day trailer announcing a Steam version at the same time. That's going to be before the end of the month or February. Not March, though. And we might get a new SMT5 trailer during that partner showcase or direct, but we're not going to get gameplay during that trailer. How does that sound? Please don't destroy me.
I'm not meaning it as I like your idea. The only thing that kind of pushes me out of this is, personally for me, I just don't feel it in my gut that we're getting another direct this year. But like besides that, everything else kind of lines up. I think if that was to happen whenever it does happen, go for it like 100%. But just something about January, especially with how weird this month has been. Like literally, companies have been delaying games for even Inauguration Day this week, which is insane. Like I don't know if you guys saw, but Elder Scrolls Online, they're announcing their newest expansion. This was supposed to be Wednesday, or even Tuesday. But what ended up happening was they're like, hey, America's kind of like being a giant like burning dumpster fire right now, so we're just going to do our thing next week. Like, so if the world is looking at Inauguration Day as like, ooh, we better not announce video game stuff right now, I would not be like, I feel like, especially someone like Nintendo, who like, didn't like Nintendo literally delay a pre-recorded Direct once just because there was like a tsunami in Japan or something?
I think it was an earthquake.
Yeah, they did.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. But still, I mean, I'm basing this on the fact that they used to have January Directs all the time, and also on the fact that they've had partner showcases for multiple months in a row before the end of last year, and also the fact that we only know about 2 first-party titles. That's more about the normal Direct. If they do a regular Direct, I'm not too sure about whether I want to pick one of them, but we do know about 2 titles, first-party titles that are coming this year, which are Mario 3D Thingy and Pokemon Snap.
Show Bowser's Fury some goddamn respect, David.
I am sorry, sir.
That game looks way too good. Like I should not be that excited for a Wii U port that's not Tokyo Mirage Sessions, but I'm legitimately excited for Bowser's Fury.
Xenoblade Chronicles X, please, sir.
True. Very true.
3D World is my least favorite 3D Mario game, but they got me excited because Bowser's Fury looks really cool.
Hey, that Super Saiyan mode looks pretty cool.
Honestly, the weird one, like, I'm not even that excited about like the Super Saiyan Cat thing more as I am. I think the idea of having a co-op Mario game where you play with Bowser Jr. just seems really jolly.
Mm-hmm.
Also, as much of a like Mario fan as I am, 3D World is literally the only 3D Mario I've never played. And I owned a Wii U, so like I didn't even have an excuse.
Yeah, I played through it. My issue with the game, it's a lot like 3D Land in the way that, like, I mean, they're very similar in how they play. To me, they're both semi-unmemorable. I just like 3D Land more because it was a basically endless Mario game on a handheld, whereas 3D World didn't really feel as substantial to me. But it's not a bad game.
That's interesting, just because most people I know, whether they like 3D World more or less than Land, I always feel like I universally hear people be like, no matter how you feel about them, 3D World kind of makes 3D Land irrelevant, even though they are different games.
Like, World is definitely bigger. I think I might just have more memories of, like, car trips and shit that just being, accompanied by 3D Land and just me playing that game basically forever. Because, yeah, it is, what, like, 16 worlds? It's like, it's a massive game for a handheld. I think that's just what I really liked about it.
Okay.
But...
So, Michelle, then, for you, what do you think is the first prediction, whether it be safe or crazy?
I'm gonna make the wild prediction. They're gonna put Persona music on Spotify. No, I don't know. I feel like this month, that's already half over. I'm not sure if we will get anything. If it is anything, maybe a Western release date for Nocturne. That's like the one thing that I think might actually happen this month.
Okay. Now, are either of you guys confident enough to go into specific release dates, or are you saving that for a later month?
Later for me.
Okay.
I could see them dumping the actual release date now, but I don't know what it would be.
That spring, man. That spring 2021 is too nebulous. I don't like it.
My guess at that point might be April, like just sometime in April.
I think April will be a very popular month for our predictions then. So, for me, this is going to be very greedy. This is going to be very selfish. This is a selfish prediction, but we have to will things into existence sometimes. It's part of this life. For January, my prediction is that Atlus will email Spencer a copy of Strikers, preferably within the next 7 to 10 days, so that I can actually start covering the game and not be left out in the trash like everyone else. There was a chance I could have been playing it today, but then I actually realized nobody in the States is working. Well, most people in the States aren't working just because of the holiday. So I am really, really hoping that I've done enough simping and terrible, terrible things privately. I at least had shame on like people like certain Twitter influencers out there. Let me tell you, if you want a review code, publicly saying it on Twitter, not the way to go. Like one of my favorite things was and he's not here, so I can 100% like talk to him about this. I was talking to Gnarly about how like the proper etiquette for wanting to get review codes, and what I just thought was so funny was it was like, hey, if I haven't heard back, like should I like call him out on like I think if you want to joke about not being part of getting review codes, that's one thing. Like that's very like I even like jumped in on that of like talking about how I wasn't part of the preview coverage, but check out my Strikers video. But what I just thought was so funny is just like people who like if you do that, it's funny if you kind of know them. If not, it immediately is just like anyone who might be aware of you on PR is just going to be like, no, that's stupid. Like I don't think that's funny, and you will only get Sakura Wars. That's your punishment.
Did you get Sakura Wars for real?
I didn't even request it. Sakura Wars was one for me of like I knew that wasn't a good game, and I was just like, no, you're good. Like keep your codes, dude. I mean, hey, if you like Sakura Wars, go for it, but it's just one of those things of like, there's like a weird etiquette, and I think especially for a lot of like content creators out there, I don't know if either of you two have ever gone about trying to request like review codes and stuff, but like I've had a lot of experience with it just through my time in editorial and covering other games. And it's one of those things of like requesting a review code is not that hard, but I think when you're specifically kind of mostly working with one individual company or one series of games and stuff like that, it's very easy to kind of think of it like from your perspective of like, well, what the hell? I cover this. Like, shouldn't I get every game for that? When it's like, the thing I always tell people when it comes to requesting codes, no matter how big or small the game is, act like every review code you are ever asking for is the first, last, and most important game you will ever get in your entire life. Like, never go into it kind of thinking like, well, I deserve it for X, Y, and Z reason, or I should do it for this. It's like one of those things of like, whether you want it, whether you kind of want it, whether it's like your most anticipated game ever, is like, because it's just one of those things you can sniff out really, really easy from someone of just being like, are you just trying to get a free game for me because you think you deserve it? Because like in reality, the publisher and in the PR side of things, they don't know what's anything. Like, yes, we might be able to help like within the communities and stirring up hype, but it just, for them, it does nothing. Like it's like a blip on their radar.
Fair enough.
And that was Spencer's review corner talk. So sorry about that.
Atlus doesn't know who I am, so I don't think I'm getting a code.
Atlus, see, that's the funny thing. Atlus is like, Atlus themselves, and I have no qualm saying this because this is just honestly true. I know people at Atlus who have listened to the show, and no one has ever been like, Spencer, that's a little harsh, and I don't think it's true. No one has ever like come to my claims and been like, that's just not true, Spencer. Atlus continues to just be like the most hands-off with their community in terms of their official channels. It's the weirdest thing. Like, they used to be like top tier. Like, they used to be like some of the best in terms of interacting with us, talking to us, like talking to people big and small. Like, just to put into perspective, I was getting review codes for SMTN from Atlus like months in advance when we barely had like a fourth of our numbers we do now. And I'm not big. Like, I am aggressively unpopular. I am not popular by any means.
Well, more than I am.
Well, it's not about numbers. It's about ad revenue. I mean, it's about community. That's what it's about, community.
Is that supposed to bring me up?
It's
about community.
You get free healthcare. You don't need anything brought up to you. You're good. You're doing better than all of us.
Okay, then.
I'll just tell them I'm friends with Ozziak. They'll get me a code.
No! Oh my god, that would literally like I would if it was the equivalent of like me trying to like stop you from getting run over by the bus, that would be that email. I mean, like, I don't know if you're aware of the popular YouTuber Ozzy. I'm what you might call a regular.
I was in this Powis ranking video where we said that Futaba was the worst Powis in the game. I think I know what I'm talking about.
Oh my god. Like, one of the funny things, too, because, like, the only time Atlus West in recent memory really interacted with a lot of, like, communities in any real way was, like, the whole fan site stuff. But what was so great with that was like you knew like without saying it, they basically were like, "Hey, we're interacting with him because he is the highest like Twitter following of all of you guys," and that was really, and what was so funny about it is because like they were never really caring or like looking at what like Fansite was really doing. It was more of a thing of like, oh, they have. It was literally like how I think influencers are picked out of like. That's why I always get, like, really, like, kind of burned when you see companies, like, I don't know how you guys feel about this, but, like, when I see companies sending influencer stuff that they literally have no reason to send, like, one of my things is, like, when you see companies like Limited Run Games sending influencer stuff, I'm like, dude, literally, like, I saw Greg Miller get a game I bought 6 months ago before I did, and I paid for it, and it was a limited thing. Of like, it's already sold out. Why does he need a free one? It was just one of those stupid things of like, you are just annoying the people who bought the thing from you.
Yeah.
Are there popular influencers? Here's a great question, and this goes for chat. Are there influencers who are just influencers? They don't really make anything. They are just popular because they're popular, who you genuinely like and seem like a nice person. I'm very curious if they're out there.
Belle Delphine.
That is a controversial pick for the night. I appreciate it.
I have 900 followers for some reason. I don't make anything, so you know, anything's possible.
Oh my god! Did not expect Belle Delphine as the first choice. David, as I swig my gamer bathwater, what is your first prediction for February of 2021?
Again, my first prediction was for both months, so I'm going to stick with it, I think. It is January or February. I don't have anything specific for February. I'm looking at my notes here. No, nothing specific.
I'm gonna make you at least have to pick something just so we can have 12 good ones. Think of what is something you think will happen due to Scramble releasing. Sorry, Strikers.
I don't know. Maybe we'll get a demo. I doubt it.
No, of course not. No. Okay, here. What is it? DHI Hollow brings this up. What do you think? Predict your reception. How will Strikers be received? Do you think?
Okay, that's fair. I think the reception's going to be, well, we already have a few previews that came up, and the reception's already pretty good. But from what I've heard about you guys who played it before, I think the reception's going to be great in general. I think people are going to be surprised by the sales of the Switch version of the game. I think that's going to surprise most people because in Japan, the PS4 version outsold the Switch version by large numbers. I do think the Steam version is going to do extremely well as well.
All right, Michelle, February. Drop me some hot, wet, sticky predictions.
I don't know if this will be February, but I feel like it's within the first few months of the year. I think if Atlus is smart, which they're not always.
I love the optimism. At least you're gonna give them a chance. I know you never do what you should be doing, but I'm gonna pretend you might one day.
I think somewhere early in the year, Persona 3 FES/Portable will come to Steam.
That was one of my predictions.
I love
that you mentioned FES though. That's what I had as well.
Because FES is the one I want FES with party control. That is my ideal version of the game. I mean, my more ideal version of the game is both combined, but that is unlikely. My ideal version is FES because I do like it over Portable, but I'm not really going to be upset about either necessarily. I will only be upset if they pick Vanilla, because that'd be stupid.
It would be. But I do think they're going to do like a straight FES port. I would like to have the added content from Portable, like you just mentioned, but I think they're going to do a straight FES port. And people are going to be mad.
Speaking of people being mad, my prediction for February, the Atlus and Persona community will be mad at the overall quality of the localization in Strikers. Now, this is not coming from any inside knowledge. This is just coming from some predictions and things that I've seen from the preview coverage. I don't think the localization seems bad, but I think we are going to see a rise in... Like, do you guys remember when original Persona 5 came out? And there was that genuine and honest discussion about, like, hey, Persona 5 is a really, really great game. its localization definitely could have been a lot better and a lot tighter. Like they had a lot of localization issues of like not grammatical errors, more like, oh, this line delivery is really bad. Why are these characters being pronounced? Like a tweet I saw that I was surprised like didn't pick up more. Someone had a clip of Ryuji saying his name again, and it goes back to my thing of like, I love Max Middleton. I love Ryuji in the English version. Why are we still committing to his last name being pronounced Sakamoto? Like, even just like stuff like that, like I always forget, like irks me. And I think with more characters, and then the reason you didn't see this for stuff like the previous stuff like with Royal, all of the new stuff when Royal was like all the way at the end. So obviously no one's going to talk about spoilers if there is an issue there. So I think people are going to be a little miffed about that. I think people are going to have issues with some of the voice direction again. I think the fact that it was recorded at home is going to come up a lot, whether it be in reviews or just people's general criticisms. I think the core gameplay is super, super solid. Like, hey, I've been playing the hell out of it in Japanese, but I wouldn't be surprised if by the time we finally get that English version in hand for everybody, it's good with a messy asterisk next to it.
Fair enough.
Maybe, I mean, because, like, I know this won't stop people from complaining. I know, like, a while back, On's VA, Erica Harlatcher, said, like, yeah, they were specifically directed to say the names like that because it rolled off the tongue better in English. Which like, is always funny because, like, I believe that. Like, Atlus Japan does listen in to, like, the voice stuff. They've been doing that since Persona 2 and even in America. But what's, like, funny about it is, like, you're localizing the game. You're not translating the game. Like, sure, they can, like, the voice director can, like, say that, but, like, that even goes with, like, Yakuza. Like, Yakuza, and this is just more of specifically a Sega complaint in general because they are the same company. It's, like, forget about consistency, forget about what sounds best and what thing. Actually, like, listen, this is not a game that takes place in a nebulous world. This is Japan, so when you hear someone speaking Japanese wrong, and you can stop that, at the end of the day, you don't really have a good excuse. Like, that's like if someone went up to me and said, hey, your last name is Presley. No, it's Presley. No, Presley sounds a lot cooler. Yeah, but my name is Presley. I don't care what sounds cooler. That's like, imagine if someone up to you and be like, hey, Michael. No, it's Michelle. No, Michael sounds cooler. They're both in my Twitter bio. It doesn't matter.
So, like, I hope I'm wrong, but I think it's one of those things we just haven't seen in a long time. Like, there's actually a very interesting website that's dedicated to this. It's basically like a over-explaining blog website that is just dedicated to showing how the localization process of the original P5 just kind of made a lot of weird, messy mistakes. So, again, I hope I'm wrong, but it can definitely be one of those things of I wouldn't be surprised if it comes up as a bigger deal once everyone kind of gets their hands on it and people just start dunking on it. Which, obviously, you look at the state of Persona 5 now, that rarely comes up, but that is something that did come up at time of release in 2017. Were either of you two, by the way, very much into, like, do you guys have much of an opinion on how the localization of the original P5 was?
Wasn't it pretty bad for Spanish? For the Spanish audience?
Well, I'm more talking about, because, like, the Spanish one is literally just Google Translate the English script into Spanish with some typos.
Yeah,
like, because and more specifically in the sense of how they adapted it and, like, they're like, meaning for some stuff. Like, even with, like, Strikers, one of the things people have commented on a couple times, and I've even talked to people, are like, hey, some characters sound louder than they should, some characters, like, I don't know if anyone here ever played, like, Y2K, but, like, there were, like, lines of, like, Y2K that were, like, whatever you think about the writing, just the direction was weird of, like, why are you yelling in one scene and then talking normally in the next? It all just goes back to the direction hurting, and then it happening under quarantine definitely didn't do it any favors. Like, oh, you go.
I don't know, because, like, for me, I didn't really have any real big issues with, like, the localization of the game. I mean, I just enjoyed. I don't know. I thought it was fine.
In Persona 5, how do you not laugh hysterically to yourself every time you hear that line?
I have a mixed reaction. One is like it's really showing, a genuinely upsetting way that the school views on, but on the other hand, that line is really funny.
Like, I think I've said this to you before, David. I don't know if I've ever actually said this to Michelle. I'd be curious if you guys agree with it. I always say this of, like, I love the voice acting cast in all of P5 if they are a main character. Every other non-coincidental, like, if a character doesn't have a name, they are literally the worst voice acting I've ever heard in a game.
I don't think it's, like, the worst, but a lot of it's really funny, especially that voice.
David, thoughts? Is this when you're going to tell me you're actually a subs guy and you never once have heard Persona 5 in English?
No, I played it in English. But I agree, so I have nothing to add. I mean, main cast, great voice acting, side characters, debatable.
The one other line, what is it? The one other line that always makes me laugh way more than it has any right to is, what is it? The one line that always makes me laugh way too much is the scene where, spoilers, I guess. Well, here, I'll spoil it without actually spoiling it. Bald bad guy at the end is fake killing himself, and the doctors there literally sound like one guy was doing all three of the doctors in the room's voices, and it's just like, he took the pill! He might not be okay! Oh my god!
Yeah.
And it's like, what is the severity of this situation? Like, is this supposed to be funny? Like, it's almost like, and no offense to people who do, like, fan dubs or abridges, the background voice actors in Persona 5 sound like they are from the Persona 5 Abridged series.
Kajo, you're in chat, right?
That would be great, yeah. I mean, like, it's probably sad to say if this might be true. I think, and I've only seen the first episode, I think the P5 Abridged series may have better voice acting quality than the background characters in P5 legit.
I mean, Kazuro's a pretty good Joker impression. I have to give a shout out to Kazuro because he was my first Twitch sub. But I love P5's dub. I feel like the only named character that I thought was kind of okay on their voice was just like Shinya, and even then the voice still fits him. So,
see, but he had a name. Like, it goes back to my thing of as soon as a character does not have a name, terrible. They're of no consequence.
I think my favorite thing is like I find it really funny anytime like I recognized a background character voice. Like the number of like background characters that were supposed to be adults, but I was like, no, that's Nanako. You can't lie to me. Because I just kept hearing Nanako's voice for a lot of the background women. It was really funny.
I don't know if this ruins the character in like a good or bad way, but like when I found out that Angel, one of the, well, I guess what used to be the like dude who picks up Ryuji and now went from gay guy to drag queen guy, when one of them is voiced by the same guy who does Kamoshida, it's like you've somehow ruined two characters. It's like this is Kamoshida's twin brother. He just got a lot more of a flamboyant life than his older brother did.
And they're both terrible human beings. Yeah.
Oh my god. Speaking of being terrible, David, what's happening in March? What the heck is Atlus going to do in the month of March?
In March, well, we have the Shin Megami Tensei Live 2021 concert. So we're getting SMT5 gameplay in March 20th, to be more accurate.
So explain to me the rollout of this. Not like you have to justify it. So like, is it like Kingdom Hearts? How when they back in the day when they were doing concert tour, it's like had an exclusive trailer at the concert if you're there live, and then eventually uploads online.
No, that's like the way that they do it is basically they keep it exclusive for people who have tickets for a week, from what I understood. That's for this week's show, this year's show, sorry, and then they upload it afterwards. But looking at the past Atlus concerts, they tend to show new stuff at those concerts, so this is why I'm expecting gameplay for Shin Megami Tensei 5 at the concert.
I am very excited to watch a very crappy live upload of the concert without paying any money. I'm just going to put that out there.
Yeah! That's how I do it all the time. I still remember It wasn't the last Persona Super Live. It was the one before that, which I forget what year that was. I think it was 2017. I still remember the day that came out and was put on YouTube at 240p. Me putting that basically on loop for the entire day. I still remember that. It was a fond memory.
Especially with like a concert, like it's like the video quality at the end of the day really doesn't matter as long as you can hear it. That's kind of what you're there for.
If I know Lin Inaizumi's there, then that's all that matters.
I like, and obviously, like, I don't think this is going to happen. I'm just waiting for the day that there can finally be another Super Live, and I can just hear. I honestly, if I could pay like this, I would actually pay for. If I could just get an entire album live version of the Persona 5 Strikers album, I would pay an ungodly amount of money to hear that all live. Like, those songs are already awesome, but like actually hearing it live, especially with like how much like rock is like part of that album, is just so great.
Yeah.
Would you pay the price of the P5 anime for it?
Mm-hmm.
That I would pay for. Like, I turned down the Royal vinyl. I would not turn down a Strikers vinyl, and that's nothing against. And that's nothing against like P5. That's more just a thing of like, I mean, it's one of those weird things of like I have a hard time making the case of why Strikers OST is so good, because I don't actually want to spoil it for people. And yes, I am one of those weirdos who thinks you can spoil a soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else for March?
I'm going back into your thing. I'm trying to decide if like. That does make sense. You're right. That would make sense to put it at that concert, but it just goes back to that thing of like in my gut personally, I say there's no way, Jose, you see anything about SMT5 until summer. What about you, Michelle? Like when does your heart really say you see anything SMT5? Do you think it could be at the concert?
I think it could be the concert. I think I don't know. I think it's like, to me at least, it feels almost 50-50. Like, will it be the concert or will it be summer? I don't know. I think it could be either. Whether or not it's gameplay at the concert, I don't know. I mean, it could just be another teaser and like a more specific release window, like fall or whatever. I'm not exactly sure. At the concert, though, they should definitely announce Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne Dancing All Night. That's the game I want to play.
Dancing fiercely all night.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god. March, Michelle. What is the prediction for March then for you?
I don't know. I feel like something probably happens at that SMT concert because Atlus likes announcing things at concerts. I'm just not exactly sure what. I guess
you guys are so much more confident about the concerts than I think, due to the fact that it's going to be live streamed. I think they're going to keep it more of a contained by the numbers experience. I hope I'm wrong, but like I just have this one like gut in my feeling of like I feel like they're just going to be safe and like not really do anything that crazy.
Well, they announced Strikers and Royal at the concert in 2019.
True, but that goes back to the thing of while Super Lives are live streamed to a certain extent, there are thousands of people who pay tickets to be there, though.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna say one last thing about the concert, though. As you probably know, I'm a big defender of Shin Megami Tensei 5 being a 2021 game and not getting delayed. But I'm gonna say it officially for the first time. I do think that if we don't see gameplay at the concert, it's getting delayed. I'm pretty sure about that.
That is funny you said, just because like for me, at least in my head, you can't show 5 without gameplay next. Because of how long it's been.
Well,
like, there will be no goodwill. There's no amount of goodwill a trailer could give them that no gameplay being in wouldn't make people nervous.
I would agree, but the only situation that I see it work is what I said for January or February. If they have some type of partner showcase, they do the same thing as they did in July. They give us a trailer with a date for Nocturne and just another teaser trailer for 5 without gameplay. I think that's the only situation that it would work. But if we see only a new trailer during the concert or during summer and there's no gameplay, it's worrying, for sure.
Okay. So for me, this is going to be a really out of left field one. I think for March, my bet is we finally get a release date, and hopefully it is like a summer or something. But Viz is going to announce, or some other publisher, that we are finally getting Memento Missions manga officially in English. We know that the rights have been sold to somebody in the West, but that is a manga adaptation I've been dying to see for the longest time. It's done by the same guy who did the manga for Ultimax, and his art is amazing.
I retweet like every piece of art he puts on Twitter.
It's so good. Like all of his stuff is so like, and what I love about it is like I learned about him actually through dancing. The first time I ever heard about him was he did specific costumes for Persona 4 Dancing All Night. Like he made costumes as 2D illustrations that were then made into DLC for Dan, and I just thought that was like such a cool way to like discover somebody. Yeah, I would love to know like how like he got so like, buddy into. I would love to know like how he got so buddy with Atlus just as like a mangaka before the whole Ultimax thing. And that's where you guys tell me that only nerds still buy physical books and no one will buy it besides Spencer.
I mean, I own that friggin'. I own that Royal Art book. I don't know.
I don't. Oh, like the Japanese Royal Art book?
No, the one that came with the English Collector's Edition.
Oh, that doesn't count. Unless you are buying a book that it didn't come in a collector's. Like, that's like such a great moment of like, you know you've really, really super nerded out on a purchase when you buy an art book that is not part of a collector's something.
Oh, one day I will own the Persona 5 art book. It has to happen.
Michelle, I want A, for this pandemic to be over.
Yeah,
and then B, for you to come on over to my house. I have, it is a 600 plus page art book of every Danganronpa game from concept to execution, literally, pun intended. It is one of my favorite art books of all time because like it goes through the process of like, because that like visual novels in general, ironically, either have a lot of art or a little. Obviously, Danganronpa is on the a lot of art end. And it is just like such an awesome one. Of like, I think I bought it for like $60, and my friends are like, "Oh my god, it's like $60! It's just like an art book." But like for like someone like me, like that series like means so much. I love that. Like another one like I'm really proud of. I'm looking at is I have the art book for Ultimax, which is great because it's not only a concept art book, it is also everything from Arena and Ultimax from the story, but it also has every frame of animation from drawing to actual pixel art as well. So it's just this massive, it's just this massive Bible of like frames of data drawn.
That's awesome. Because like one of the things I wanted that I will never be able to afford in my life is the like 10-year anniversary like set of Danganronpa books they're releasing. But like
when those got announced, like I want that too, just from like I want to celebrate the series and get it because like I don't really have anything for Ultra Despair Girls or V3, but like at the same time, I don't know. I think like for an art book, it's really easy to sell me if I can hold it, feel it, see what the quality's like, check out everything. Like, I don't know if even a series that I love and trust that much, like, I could justify the money with like a blind pre-order, you know?
Because the issue with it is that it's so freaking heavy because it's like 4 books that like the shipping cost is like as much as the books. So you're basically doubling your purchase if you want it here. So...
David, do you have any art books that you are proud of or would want?
I want the Kaneko art books.
Oh yeah, those sets are so very, expensive. Very nice.
Yeah, they're amazing. I have my favorites, but you know, I don't own any of them yet, unfortunately. Well, I also own the art books that came with the collector's editions of games, but I have this amazing 13 Sentinels art book.
Boo!
Do you want to see it?
Boo! That Western art book sucks. I know who worked on it, and I love her. She's very nice, but boo! That art book was lazy.
At least I have the physical one, the digital one, which is probably the most worthless thing that came out of 2020.
I will say, Vanillaware art books done by Atlus that aren't 13 Sentinels are very, very nice. Those are great pre-order art books. Not 13 Sentinels, though. Wayne, like, especially because all three of us have played that game, can we just give, like a shout-out to a game having such great art and yet such a terrible, terrible art book? Like, how do you do that?
Man.
It's crazy.
Also, I do want to actually go back on one thing I did say. I did say I there's nothing I'm like brave enough to like pre-order an art book without touching it. This is the only book I've ever kickstarted, and it took forever to come out. But do you guys know the Oddworld series?
Yes.
So I pre-ordered this book by, I think it's like Indie by Design or something, and it's this company who did an art book compilation for everything from the first Oddworld game all the way up until New and Tasty. And what's so great about it is it's like one of those giant coffee table books of like, it has interviews, descriptions, lots of sketches and stuff like that. That was one where it's like, I love that series so much, and that's not going to be a book that I'm just going to walk into a Barnes & Noble and find one day, or like an anime convention. Like something popular like Danganronpa, there will be people who just buy tons. Like they will not make a tiny amount of that Danganronpa 10-year anniversary book set. But like something like this, like I'm not going to stumble across like some like crazy like thing like that. And it is cool for like a Kickstarter of like having your name as like, I helped make this thing possible.
Yeah.
Weird tangent. Have either of you guys ever oh my god, we speak of abridges and P4 abridged pop in. That's very funny. Have either of you two ever kickstarted anything, or are you guys either big or not really into backing stuff?
I would if I had like I had like more money to do it. Like if I could have, I would have absolutely backed a game that's recently been put on Kickstarter. I don't know if you've heard of it, called Remakes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
well,
like,
I mean, half because yes, I follow it. The other half, it is always you retweeting stuff. But yes, I have heard of that.
I do really. Framemakers looks really good to me because I mean I'm a huge Smash fan. I love the idea of indie Smash. So like if I could have, I would have backed that game definitely. I've played a ton of games that were Kickstarter. A lot of my favorite games like FTO and stuff were Kickstarter games. I think Darkest Dungeon was as well, and I adore those games. But yeah, like I've never really been able to, but if I could, I probably would.
It's like one of the things like Kickstarter wise, I always think about like how things could be different. In games people always forget were Kickstarter games. Hollow Knight was a Kickstarter game forever ago. If you look at its budget, it was hilariously small, especially by Kickstarter standards now. One of its tiers, it was short by like $500. It was like, hey, we'll bring Hollow Knight to Vita, but it was short by like $500. And what sucks is like, I bet you they would have put it out. Okay, like you know how some Kickstarters would be like, we're gonna give you a Wii U port, and then it never really came out and it just put it on Switch. Like, that was one of those ones where like I bet that could have been a thing, but because 5 years ago people didn't give it the like Hollow Knight, like, no one knew about Hollow Knight until it was out. Like even though it did give a financial like backing at first, like it was one of those games where like it definitely blew up a lot more once it was out. But it was just so funny of me to like look back on it and just be like, oh my god, like. Like, oh my god, what am I gonna do with myself? Because like Hollow Knight is one of those games where I've never played it. Everyone I know who has played it loves it, says it's like the best thing ever, and then it just goes to like, oh cool, but like I'm sure I'll play it. I think once like Silk Song is out, and then I think the entire world will never shut up about it. Then I'll finally like jump into the train. But yeah, David, have you been brave enough or dumb enough, depending on the game, to back anything?
Nope, never. For the same reasons that you mentioned before. I'd like to, but not yet.
I want to say...
at some point I'll find a project that's cool enough, seems cool enough to me to back it.
I'm going to look this up. I've not backed a lot of things. Limited run games actually got me into backing stuff, which was not a good idea. But let's see, I've backed 8 things in my life. Giving like probably Indiegogo stuff is probably a little bit more. The first thing I ever backed, going all the way to it here, was in December 2016. Oh my god, over 4 years ago now, and I still don't have it. It's for this visual novel called Re Sharon no Kuni, which is basically just this like kind of popular visual novel from Japan to get a Vita and PC port, and they are still trying to make it happen. And it's not like it's anything crazy. It is literally just a dude with chicks ecchi game. Like, there's no, it's not like a Muv-Love, it's just one of those things like that, and it's just so funny to be like, that is what I'm still waiting for. But, like...
4 years?
4 years, terrible communication. It's one of those things of, like, I finally actually got through to some people who are working on it in Japan, And like they I think it is basically all done because they had to submit it to Vita deadline by the end of last year. So like I know it's gonna come. I've never doubted it's not going to come. So like it wasn't like vaporware for me. But one of the funny things with it was I finally got through to someone in the communication teams who works there, and they were like, "Hey, I really because like I'm one of the people who like I still talk about it because it is something I am passionate about. I wouldn't have backed the game just because it was like an exclusive thing, but like the person was like, "Hey, when we're done with the game, we'll give you an interview. I promise. It's just gonna take like I think it was like 5 or 6 months ago." And I'm like, "I will 100% hold you to that because I would love to just hear that story of what could take." Because like you look at other studios, like some localization teams can like crank out a localization in like 3 to 9 months. And this is just like some indie game that came out on PSP 9 years ago, getting ported to Vita and PC. Like, what on earth are you doing there?
Jeez.
By the way, super duper big shout out to P4 Abridged for dropping $5, saying, "Spencer, shut up and take my money. P4 Abridged, I will take whatever you want to shove down my pants. I appreciate the $5. Thank you very much." And in true socialism standards, I will divvy up the $5 and split it very messily with everyone, not only in the podcast, but also here in chat. So
Nice.
We're all going to be getting PayPal statements of 1 penny in the next 30 days. By the way, that will be tax deductible, in case you was wondering.
Nice. Let's go.
Boy, look at that. We've had a Bowser's Fury tangent and a Kickstarter tangent, and we're only in March. This is a great start. David, what on earth is happening in April?
Someone that I'm not gonna mention, very reliable source leaked that Nocturne is going to come out in April, and I have to agree with this. More precisely, we have a specific date, which is... Oh boy, did you delete your tweet?
Hell no, I don't delete anything, and let me tell you, I should.
It's
there
April
are many
something.
tweets I should delete.
Here it is, April 20th, 2021.
Oh my god. Yeah, so like you kind of
it's gonna release in April. I don't know about your date, but it's gonna
Dude, literally my date is accurate. By the way, spoilers, that's my prediction. Nocturne HD comes out in the West on 4/20 because look at the calendar. It is a Tuesday. I looked at everything coming out. Obviously there are games still to be announced, but literally it is a Tuesday. That is when games release in the West, and that just seems primo meme potential. Especially because my dream idea for this game is it is going to launch with featuring Dante from Devil May Cry edition. So like, if you can mix Nocturne with DMC and 420 all on the same day, just fucking go for it. Like, it's gonna write itself.
Perfect.
Oh yeah. Hey, Spencer, I'm gonna interrupt you for a sec. I have someone in my chat, Mako Tensei, who also backed Sharin no Kuni.
Oh my god! We need to get together and we can just hold each other and just say, "What did you do with your $70?"
Wow. But yeah, it makes a lot of sense. It's Tuesday for all the reasons that you mentioned. Yeah, I do feel like it's gonna happen for sure. Are we getting a collector's edition?
Hell no. 100% no. No way,
Hell
Jose.
nah. That's why I bought the Japanese one.
That's why it'll come with a pin, and you're gonna like it.
Oh man, I mean, hey, don't make fun of the pen, Michelle. David's in Canada. He doesn't get the Steelbook. He only gets the pen.
No, I'm not getting a pen. What are you talking about? I'm getting nothing.
Oh yeah, are you going for the digital deluxe edition?
No, I'm buying the PS4 version and the Switch version, both physical. But I'm not getting a pen or
no EB Games pen. I thought EB Games got the pen.
Not that I'm aware of. But I'm going to check it out.
So, someone brought up something that is just so true. Did anyone notice, even though Atlus changed their name from Atlus USA to Atlus West to quote-unquote unify, like, the branches, like, doing stuff like regional exclusive pre-order bonuses for a Western version is literally the opposite of that.
I just checked and we're not getting a pen either.
Wow, that sucks. But, like obviously, it's, like, kind of apples and oranges, but, like, David... If you really wanted the Steelbook, shipping from the States to Canada isn't that bad. But, like, then think of all the people out there who are in, like, South America and Europe and Australia who have, like, getting, like, something like a Best Buy pre-order bonus from there. I wouldn't be surprised if people are going to start, like, flipping those, like, after shipping and everything. It's like, oh, yeah, that one Steelbook's going to be, like, $30 to $40 to get to you.
Oh, even here, man, with everything, once it arrives, it's, like, $35. I would say, for a Steelbook only. I mean, I tried to get the Yakuza one, and it's like, I'm gonna look it up right away because I don't want to say false information, but it's like $25 minimum for just the Steelbook.
Man, imagine paying $100 for a Persona 5 Steelbook from Japan. Oh my god, what did I do with my life? You guys don't want to know some prices I've paid for Steelbooks. It's like, it should be more embarrassing than it actually is. Michelle, have I ever asked you, what are your thoughts on Steelbooks? I know you have like the P5 ones, but like just in general as a collectible item, how do you feel about them?
I think Steelbooks are really cool. I don't know, like, they're not something like I'm not as diehard about them as you, of course, but I don't know.
Listen, I'm next to a shelf with literally over 100. No one should ever compare themselves to me. That is an unhealthy thing to do.
I mean, like, if I can, like, I like getting Steelbooks for a lot of games. I mean, like, I only own 2, which are for P5 and P5R, but I'm the P5, the Striker Steelbook, just because, I mean, yeah, P5, why not?
Did you decide what you're gonna do? Are you, because I know you're not gonna be a madman and double dip like me. Are you gonna go for the Switch Steelbook or the PS4 Steelbook?
That entirely comes down to whether or not I can. I need to check this. If I can make my PS4 disk drive be like consistently work, I'll get it on PS4.
Oh, is your PS4 one of those disk drives that are kind of bad?
It's kind of janky. Like, it takes a couple tries for it to work. So it's like, if it's gonna still be like that, then I'll get it physically on Switch.
That sucks.
But
I was actually talking to somebody about this recently, and it was kind of an interesting premise. I know people who want the Switch version of Strikers, but want the PS4 Steelbook. And, like, if you think about it, it makes sense, because, like, look at... That is the only Switch-size Steelbook that Atlus has done. And, like, it's kind of nice to have the uniformity of a Blu-ray-size Steelbook, because you have one for Vanilla, you have one for Royal. So, like, it would just seem really weird to have this really skinny, like, tinier version next to it, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's... kind of it sucks, to be honest, because I own a lot of them, like the Atlus PS4 Steelbooks. I have like Vanilla, I have Royal, Catherine, and Dragon's Crown. So it would have been cool to have like Strikers as well.
David, I hope you know with all of my heart I love you so much, but I have to be that fucking nerd. The Catherine and Dragon's Crown are very generic metal cases and are not the Steelbooks. It is one of those things I'm physically unable to not correct people when they say something like that. It was like literally, like, when Catherine released on the West and Atlus kept calling it a Steelbook, I, like, publicly, and I wonder why they don't fucking reply to my emails, I kept being like, you are lying to your customers, that is a generic Steel, and I'll never forget, like, Sarah from PR was like, oh, I checked with the person, it's a Steelbook. I'm like, this is all you have to do to verify, like, this is not like checking if a Pokemon cart is real. You do this. You grab a Steelbook. I'm doing this for audio form. You pick it up. You rub it into the microphone. You do this. You open it up. You look in the corner. It says Steelbook in all caps. And then you close it and block Spencer on Twitter. That's how you check for Steelbooks.
There you go.
It's just like one of those things, like, I just will never understand, like, why double down on it? If you are selling a generic Steelbook case, that's fine. Trust me, people will buy them anyway. Just don't call them Steelbooks.
At least I bought the Catherine one separately, so I do have the slipcover. Separately from the premium thingy. I have both.
I know, like, they cheaped out on doing the metal case, and they couldn't even put the name on the spine. Only for the regular edition do you get the little slip.
That's crazy.
Would anyone like some dumb Steelbook trivia that no one asked for?
Of course.
What was the first Atlus West Steelbook? I'll give you a hint. It was a PlayStation 4 title.
Idea.
It was a PlayStation 4 title.
Oh, damn it.
I'm not sure then.
I thought it was like Demon Souls. PS3.
No, I wish that there was a metal-ish looking tin for Demon Souls. Sorry, for Dark Souls, but that was Bandai Namco.
No. There's a special thingy for for Demon Souls as well. It might not be a steelbook, but it's
it's like a case that holds the art book and CD sampler thingy.
It's a deluxe edition.
Mm-hmm. So,
oh wow, that's
shoutouts to all the hardcore Atlus fans out there. Don't feel bad about this. It was actually King of Fighters 14 that released in 2016. That was the first one they ever did, and I remember even on the podcast I made it like that was the biggest news. Like this shows where news was for Atlus fans in 2016. But like because that was their first steelbook, that basically meant, oh my god, now they're finally, because they'd done other stuff before that was always like crappy cases, like little metal cases, and it was so funny that their first one was that and not P5. P5 might have actually been announced first, but like the first released one was KOF, and it's just one of those like funny things of like, I think people like, there are like especially in the PS4 generation, there's not as many titles, not like the PS3 and PS2 era. There's a lot of games that I think if you remind Atlus fans that they released, where people go like, really? Because I was having that conversation about like with the Attack on Titan 3DS game, like no one remembers that as an Atlus game.
That was a very good game.
Oh no, it was not. Michelle, I'm very sad that you only have 2 steelbooks. That makes me genuinely sad to hear that. If what's like one game you'd be like, I really want this as a steelbook, even if it doesn't have one. Like, what's like a game that'd be cool to see in like a nice shiny or like glossed matte case?
I forget. Did 13 Sentinels have one?
It did, actually. It's very hard to find, just because it was one of those GEO pre-order bonuses. I'm trying to track one down myself as well. I'm sure if you go to, like...
in Japan?
Yeah, it was only Japan.
Oh, okay.
Like, I'm sure if you, like, go to, like, some of the, like, Yahoo auctions and stuff in Japan, like, there's a couple on there. It's not expensive, you just don't see it pop up online that much. Mm-hmm. It's like the Catherine full body ones, or Nocturne, where they go for around, like, $50-$60. It's nice. It just has, like... It mostly features... like the main cast of characters and like different art styles on the front and back.
And I would love that one. I think one that does exist, even though I don't like the steelbook art as much as the normal game case, I do at some point want to see if I can track down a Smash Ultimate one, just because I play so much Smash Ultimate.
I 100% agree to that. That is one of the laziest steelbooks I've ever seen in my life. Like, you have a game like Smash Brothers, like, in terms of art and music, has so much personality to it. And then its steelbook cases, the inside art is the most boring stage ever, Battlefield, and then the outside is all black with the Smash logo. It is like insultingly bad. Because
like I would have loved if the outside I kind of get just being black with the flaming Smash logo, because it's like the first teaser for the game. I think that the inside should have been, I don't know, not just Battlefield, like maybe like a version of the Everyone Is Here banner or some shit like that.
The Everyone Is Here banner is literally bait for like one of the best pieces of art ever. Like even just the standard Smash Ultimate box art is nice. Like even if they just did a copy paste of that, it would have been cool. Now, while I did dog on it, I do own that steelbook, but I will pride myself on this. What was it? That steelbook was being sold by itself on Amazon Japan in January, the month after it came out. So with shipping, I got it to come to the States for $6. I was like, that's ugly, but for $6, I can buy that.
Yeah, I know Adam has it. Because he got like the collector's edition that came with the Pro Controller and stuff. Yeah, one day I'll own that Smash steelbook, and I'll look at it and think, man, I'm glad I own the normal box as well, because this is better.
I bet you, if you found some, like, I cannot imagine, like, that steelbook case holds for a lot, even though Smash is, like, so popular. Like, there's no crossover of collectors who enjoy that case. Like, I legit forget I have that case. Like, besides the fact that, like, I collect for it, it's very hard for, like, a steelbook case to, like, be that forgettable, even for like good games. Like, because like I even own steelbook cases for some games I don't even own, just because like, oh, this looks nice. It's like it wasn't that much money. It's like cool to have, but like, yeah, man. Thank you for reminding me of the PTSD that is that lazy abomination.
Great.
Oh my god, I don't even remember what month we're in. We're in April. Michelle, what is your April prediction? Because I forgot David and I tag teamed that one.
Oh yeah. I don't know, like, cause. I mean, I'm pretty in agreement that like Nocturne comes out that month, so I don't really know like much else that would happen that month other than just Nocturne coming. So.
Well, all three of us have finally agreed on one prediction. That means it is now officially
Yay.
canon, and Atlus
We
will
did
be
it.
sending their review codes shortly.
Uh-huh.
But we will only get the Steam version.
I want Atlus to send me a review. I'm gonna send Atlus an email just saying, "Hi, get me to play an SMT game that's not Persona. Give me a code, please. Thank you."
It would be like
Oh,
extra
for
funny
sure.
if they were like, Michelle, we heard you're a really big fan of Persona 5. Here's Nocturne.
Yes.
Like, what am I supposed to do with this? Oh my god. May. May's a weird one. We're almost into summer, but it's still kind of springy. David, what is happening in May for Atlus?
I think May is the month where we're gonna get a 25th anniversary of Persona announcement. Whether it's a
I was wondering
Persona
when
3,
we were finally going to dip into that. Okay.
yeah, so whether it's a Persona 3 FES Steam port like we talked about before, or if it's a Persona mainline Persona on Switch or PS4, I have Golden in mind. Maybe not releasing that month, but announced that month. So either Golden or Golden Switch PS4 or FES PC. I think is a good bet.
Okay.
I think Golden has to come to Switch because, like, I've talked about this with Adam. I feel like a lot of people underestimate just how popular Persona 4 Golden still is even after P5, because like that game sold ridiculously well for being a remake of a PS2 game that was originally only on a dead handheld, and it did super fucking well on Steam. So I think people underestimate how well that did and just how popular P4 still is.
Atlus was surprised that the game sold well on Steam, which is
Atlus
crazy.
included.
Yeah. So definitely on the Switch, which will probably be at like 80 million units sold by then.
Yeah.
And selling like hotcakes every single week in Japan. They're crazy to avoid it.
I own 3 copies of Golden.
Yeah, same.
I own it on Steam, and I put like an hour into it. I just wanted to own it on Steam.
I did the exact same thing.
I'm like, I need to own my least favorite Persona. It's really important.
Least favorite? Really?
Yeah, I like it a bit less than 3, and 5's obviously my favorite, but yeah.
And
I still need to play
and there's no other titles after that.
No?
Named them all?
There's nothing before 3. It started with 3. It's like Star Wars.
I'm gonna play 1 soon, because Adam's playing through it right now, and where I need to play... Like, that's... Persona 1 is probably, like, gonna be, like, the next game I play once I'm done with Yakuza, which will probably be done with, like, tomorrow.
I love that, like, it's almost like he's, like, lending you a copy. Like, you're getting, like, his hand-me-down game. You're like, oh, he finished it, and he's gonna give you the PSP the next.
He's not even done with it. Like, he's just started it.
We need to, like, get you, like, going,
time.
like, big brain enough so that, like, Adam has to start playing games you've beaten. Like, I want to, like, hear from Adam and be like, oh, yeah, man, you know, what is, like, I'm trying to think of, like, the most outlandish thing possible is, like, oh, yeah, Michelle's playing World of Warcraft or Dota 2, so I gotta get in on that next.
I mean, like, I remember we made a deal, like, a year ago where I was, like, because he kept trying to get me to watch, like, the DuckTales rebooks. He loved that show.
So
and I was like, I will watch DuckTales if you play a Root of Katawa Shoujo. And he did, and then I forgot to watch DuckTales. I'll do it one day. So that was our thing.
Larry, I'm on DuckTales. One of the best 2020 quotes of all time.
Oh, I love that clip so much.
Larry, I'm on DuckTales. What are you talking about? Okay, so dipping into May, I definitely agree. I think it's going to be the start of the summer of Persona. And what I mean by that is, I think Atlus wants to separate the 25th anniversary event with Strikers, just in the sense of, like, it wasn't really part of the event in Japan, and it wouldn't be fair to try and, like it's kind of like a lazy inclusion. It's like, hey, this game was supposed to be out anyway, like, earlier. Like, it's not really fair to make it part of the 25th anniversary. That's not why it was made. That being said, I think it's going to start a string of projects over the summer that I'm going to get into with, like, June, July, and August. But it's going to be them detailing their plans of 3 projects. And step 1 is basically going to be 3 and 4 are going to be a release on Steam. Sorry, obviously 4 is already on Steam. 3 and 4 is going to be 3 portable in HD, and for Golden, the Steam port, and put that on consoles, Xbox, PlayStation, and Switch.
Xbox.
Yeah.
Of course. Why not?
Cool.
Like honestly, I've been telling you this for the longest time. The first
Atlus.
Persona game that comes to Game Pass, like, is going to just like melt. Like, imagine if Microsoft had like the like money to like back it up when Persona 3 and 4 come to Steam and come to Xbox. That's just free with Game Pass. Like, so like look at all the hundreds of thousands of copies that bought it in the summer. When the exact same thing happens for Persona 3, you know those sales are going to happen. But then tell even more people, hey, if you give Microsoft $5, you can play that game for free, and hundreds of others.
Yeah.
Because if you look at Switch, it's kind of like what you mentioned, Michelle. Like, people on Switch already want to play it, and they're going to do it there. And then you go to PlayStation. Yeah. PlayStation fans are going to pay for it. They don't really care. Like, Game Pass is a good deal, but if you're already on PlayStation like me, you're going to just pay it because you're used to it anyway.
Yeah.
So that's like the first one of all the titles, but that will be the first major announcement. I'll kind of get into the other ones in the other months for it, but yeah, May just something about May. I don't know if it's because it's the 5th month, but just something about May in my heart of hearts just really like made me feel like I think that's when it's going to happen. And even at that point, it's kind of like hopefully people are going to be gearing up for summer announcements, because like people always sleep on summer. That's why like I was so amazed that Scramble never came out as Strikers in the summer, because like I feel like Strikers is way more of a summer game than a February game. But hey, we got to get it eventually.
Like, it's got to come out in summer, right? That's when the game freaking takes place.
No, but the weaves at Atlus West were like, comes out in Japan in February. We got to copy Japan.
Gotta copy Japan. I hate everything about how Strikers came out.
So, oh Jesus, yeah, that will be like its own like editorial I want to do one day. Like, once it's out and like the tail of that game is done, like what a roller coaster of just going down for 90% of its entire release.
I'll be telling this story to my grandchildren for generations. The story of how I had to wait for my Persona 5 spin-off game.
Like, you know that meme of, like, the old lady in the walker, like, at the nursing home being, like, brought in?
Yeah.
We need to, like, make that, where I'm the old lady, and it's like, did you know it took them over 500 days to announce the Western version? All right, Grandma, let's get you to bed. But yeah, like before I go into that though, for you guys, I'm actually curious in the chat with as well. For Persona 3 Portable and for Golden, I think $40 is like a slam dunk. You sell both of those for $40 on consoles, like that'll just eat up.
Nah, Nocturne's gonna be 50. So.
Oh no way, dude! Happening. Especially after the reception in Japan.
I think
no way.
Golden.
Oh, I disagree.
You were asking by the way about Golden, Michelle.
Well, I was gonna say with like because Golden's 20 on Steam right now, right?
Yep.
My guess then is if both of those games, maybe like they sell them like $20 separately and then a bundle for 30.
See, I think
cool.
I'm going off of like the Vanquish Bayonetta bundle they did last year. Of like they were $20 on Steam for the longest time, and then it was $40 when it came out in the States on consoles. But no, David, going to your thing though of like Nocturne, like especially after everything that happened in Japan, there's no way they can go over 40 for Nocturne. Like my thing I've been telling everybody, and I was getting into this like last night. Was 30 for digital, and then there will be like a deluxe version for 40. Like I just physically cannot, like, especially just like with all the issues technically that game even still has to this day. Like, they have an uphill battle with that port, which is hilarious because it's a fucking PS2 port and it's 2021.
I disagree once again because look at Catherine. Catherine was 50 on Switch and it released a year after. And if you bring up the fact that it's not a good port, they're just going to tell you that they fixed it once it releases. We'll see. I mean, I hope you're right, but I feel like they're going to do 50 once again.
Yeah.
I thought they're going to drop the price for us in the West. That's not something that they do normally.
Now, both
That's
of you...
just my opinion.
I can definitely see it going both ways. I'm just trying to go for it of like this like goes back to almost like the demo conversation of like this is what they should do. Is that what they're gonna do? Probably not. This is why I have the two of you here to like save my butt. And since the show is live, I have to go really, really quick. But while that is happening, you guys start talking about June. I'll be able to hear you. I just won't be able like my mic will be muted. So if you guys want to like tell them what you guys think about June, I will be right back.
For sure. Last year, June, we got Golden on Steam. So we might be completely wrong about everything that we said. And it might be the month where we get a port of Persona. Other than that, I'm not too sure. Maybe that's going to be a month for announcements as well.
Yeah. One thing I was thinking, because like I said earlier, like FES might, or P3 just in general, whatever version, might come to Steam like earlier in the year. If it ends up coming earlier in the year and they do a different port for summer, this is a weird one, but I could see, because I don't think P5 Arena is coming anytime soon, I could see them putting P4 Arena Ultimax on Steam.
Oh, that would be very nice. That's a game that would definitely benefit from a Steam release.
Yeah, like put it on Steam, put it on PS4 properly, just like put it on everything. Put it on Switch, which will be a version only I'll play. Arena is a game that I think would, because I know a lot of people love Arena, just like as a fighting game. I don't play fighting games that aren't Smash Bros. Because I'm like that, but I'd still play the game, if anything, just for being a Persona fan. I want to play Arena, I just don't have a way to.
That's a very good point. I just never thought about that, but yeah, an Ultimax port to Steam would be very, very nice. But the thing is, the game, yes, you're completely right. There's a very invested fan base for Arena, and I'm sure once Spencer comes back, he's going to be able to agree. But this fan base is, while they're really invested, they're not big. There's not a lot of them. Like the game sold, both versions combined, they sold like 300,000 copies top, which is not that big. So yeah, but it would be nice though. It'd
be nice, especially if it was like complete edition, come with all the characters and the P4A original story and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, that would be really cool.
I don't know if that will actually happen, but like, I don't know, because like, yeah, like if 3 didn't come earlier in the year, I feel like that'd be the point where it finally comes. So
yeah, it's hard to tell because I'm just looking at the catalog of games that they have, and I'm like, it makes sense, especially since it's probably not going to be a hard game to bring to Steam. Arena, because it's like more recent games, because other games that we hear about very often are the P1 and 2 duology that could get a re-release on modern systems, probably on Steam first. That would be really cool, but they need more work. So that's why every single time that someone brings them up, I'm like, I don't know, because they need work. So are they really gonna like re-release them? Are they really gonna do that great if they re-release them? I don't see it happening.
I want them to re-release them because I do want. I like, you know, it's obviously a joke within the fandom, but I would really like for the Persona started at 3 meme to die one day. And if it ports what that takes, then please. I don't know if they'll actually do it for, you know, 1, it would take more work than like a lot of newer games. And 2, I think Atlus does recognize the fact that people don't know those games exist, unlike the modern trilogy. So
yeah, exactly. And I wonder if that's a real question that I've been thinking about. I'm like, we all say this. What you just mentioned that like they're not aware of anything that happened before 3, but I wonder if in the back of their head they're like, oh, maybe at a certain point we're gonna remake 1, or we're gonna give some type of tribute to 1. Are they gonna give it a chance at some point? That's the question that I have in the back of my head. Some people always bring those games up to me once. They just always, people want them, but it's like,
I've always liked the idea of a remake of 1. Like, I think that'd be really cool. Yeah. Like, whether it's just like a straight, just we're gonna make the game in HD and it's gonna be exactly the same, or like they try and do kind of like a new take on the game or something. Like, whatever they do, like, I would love a remake of 1.
What's interesting about... Hi, everybody, I'm back. What's interesting about the discussion of having 1 be remade is because it's already happened once with those PSP games. But what's so funny about it was those remakes of 1 and the 2 duology are still weirdly divisive, especially 1. And what's funny about it is, like, the point of those PSP ones were, like, we're going to make these games that are very hard to find and expensive more accessible. Unfortunately, they were only more accessible if you had a PSP or a Vita. Like, they're still just stuck on those platforms, and it's like, how weird is it, like, if Persona is like one of their most popular franchises? And, by the way, spoilers, Persona 1, the OG, has a PC port already. It was just only ever released in Japan.
I didn't know that.
The thing is, with a remake, like a complete remake of either 1 or 2, it's like, I feel like the mainstream appeal that Persona 3 to 5 has, those games, they don't have it.
Yeah.
That's the issue that I see. I'm like...
No, I disagree with you there, only in the sense of it's not as instantly marketable. It has the appeal. The story is there, the music is there, the characters are there, but you have to spend money to put Persona 1 and 2 on that level where your basic consumer can walk into a GameStop and be like, oh, cool, from the people who made Persona, oh, I never played the original, I'll check this out. Like, it's like you can make it interesting and accessible for them, you just have to be willing to spend money into it. Like, those PSP remakes, even at the time, were not graphically impressive. Like, the only people those PSP remakes interested were people who are already fans of the franchise.
Yeah.
I agree. What I meant by the appeal, the mainstream appeal, is that I feel like when we hear someone who jumped into Persona who isn't an RPG fan in general, most of the time they're going to bring up like the calendar system and the confidants, the social link, stuff like that. And those games, they just don't have that. So are those fans really going to, once they look at a remake, a complete remake, or 1 or the 2 duology, are they going to be interested once they find out that there's no calendar system or no confidants, stuff like that? I feel like they're just going to drop it or skip it.
Yeah, because that is the issue with trying to sell 1 and 2, I think, too. Especially, like, the P5 only audience is the fact that, you know, like, it doesn't have the thing that makes modern Persona unique compared to other JRPGs, which is time management. So, I don't know. I like I said, I want it to, even if it is just a straight port to Steam, I want it, you know, but who knows if it'll happen.
Yeah. Again, if it's just a re-release, like some type of remaster, like up-res and stuff like that, I can see it happening, like low-effort port. But a remake, like for them to completely remake it, I'm not too sure. As much as I would like that, I'm not sure. But Spencer, we did talk about 4 Arena coming to Steam. How does that sound?
Should have happened like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
It's not too late, but like everything about that is like, yes, please, but you have to go into that knowing it's too late and it's not going to garner new fans. It's only going to get old fans back into it.
That's the thing. I mean, like, I feel like you there's like some potential if you put it on Steam, since 4 is on Steam, so you'd have like people are like more 4 and it's on Steam, but like even then, like that's not a ton, especially because it is a wildly different genre. There's also I also suggest that mainly because even though I think it'd be great if it happened, I don't foresee Persona 5 Arena even getting announced this year if it ever happens.
I wish. I mean, literally, David, I don't know if you noticed. Anytime anyone mentions Arena now to me, I just send them the link to that video you did. I'm just here. It is. This is the evergreen video for that question. But what's so funny is, like, for me, I told him in the camp of, I think June is that month where 1 and 2 finally come back. I think it is a no-frills remaster of the PSP ports, but I think they do the things they always need to do. And that this is going to be in a down enough time where it's going to attract a lot of people, and it's going to do really, really well. It's going to be... and now hold on to your horses, because this is going to sound dumb at first, but it's going to make sense. It's going to be Persona 1, Persona 2, Innocent Sin, and Persona 2 Eternal Punishment for the first time, the PSP version officially in English All 3 versions will have achievements and voice acting, and obviously be in like 1080p or 4K assets, hopefully. And it'll be $25, hence the 25th anniversary. Its MSRP will be $30, but I think at that price, especially if you do like the launch discount of $25, that would just destroy sales. Because think about it like this. It's giving people an accessible way to play these games on modern consoles. It's celebrating an anniversary. It's not doing that much work. And at the end of the day, its biggest claim to fame, which I'm surprised you guys didn't bring up, there are so many people out there who have never, honestly, just never forgiven Atlus for just not letting Eternal Punishment come over. Like, they just dropped it like a dead horse because they're like, they're not going to buy it, so why put it out? And I think that would show such a sign of goodwill to like Western fans that like even those sales alone of people who just want to finally play Eternal Punishment legally on PSP on modern consoles would, because like while Atlus put up Eternal Punishment, the PS1 version, as kind of like a make good for digital fans, no fan who has ever played Persona 2 is going to say, oh yeah, the original is way better. Like, there are those fans for the first Persona, and those arguments can be made. I've never met anyone out there, and please come out of the shadows if you're there. No one has ever said that Persona 2 Eternal Punishment on the PS1 is the de facto way to play it. Everyone is like, nope, the PSP version is better, go for it.
Yep.
Now, actually, I am curious to talk about this. Let's just say it comes out on everything. If that collection was to come out, what would you guys want to have your first playthrough of that be on?
If it were to release on everything?
Everything.
Switch.
I'd probably just get it on Switch, just because that's what I get everything on. So, like, if it's good, and like I also, I don't know, they could fuck it up, but I don't see a Switch port of a PSP game being that hard to run on the Switch.
I mean, Nocturne had massive frame drops.
Like I said, I'm not saying it won't. It can't happen.
Yeah,
I like
might
to
I
hope
interest
that it
you
won't.
in The World Ends With You somehow being a hard to run DS game?
Fuck.
That was a hard port to do though, harder than a Nocturne game for sure though.
100%.
Just because of the controls and stuff, but
100%.
Yeah. I will say, I think if there's one other thing about a port of P1, I feel like they have to do because of how vocal its fan base is. You have to give a choice between soundtracks.
Oh, otherwise, yeah, like that would be like it's almost like obvious about that. But then obviously like scumbag Atlus move comes in. Day one pre-order DLC. You want that old soundtrack? You better give me your money now, or else that's gonna be $5.
I'm glad I like Lone Prayer more because I don't need it.
The PlayStation soundtrack is just so much better. It's crazy.
I like to say it like this because I'm one of those weirdos who likes both. I appreciate how different they both are. That's what I always like saying. I don't think there's a better one. There are things that I like taking away from both. They have, they are two different soundtracks at the end of the day, and so that's why I don't always think it's fair to compare them. I think it's interesting to talk about how well they fit with their interesting game, but I don't like the people out there who just simply want to like throw it under the bus of just be like, oh yeah, PSP soundtrack is trash. It's garbage.
I mean, like for me at least, like I haven't played P1. But Lone Prayer is probably my second favorite Persona battle theme behind Last Surprise. Like, I really like.
If you played a game, we're gonna have to talk again once you play the game because this loop is just crazy. Once you listen to it like this, I agree, it's not bad, but it comes back so often, and the loop is so short that it gets. You get crazy while playing.
Because that's how I felt about Mass Destruction. Because Mass Destruction was the song for me where I'm the song is a minute long and it's played all the time.
It's a good example.
I wouldn't be too surprised if Lone Prayer does the same thing to me, but as of right now, I still like the song. But
yeah.
Are you guys ready for July?
Sure.
All right, David.
Yes.
7 months. We're over the hump now. What are you doing in July? Or what is Atlus doing in July?
Atlus in July is gonna get a game release, probably some type of port that we talked about before. But announcements wise, I don't. Sorry, just give me a sec. I unplugged my headphones.
Everyone say everything you've ever wanted to about David. No, okay. No.
I'm back. Sorry. Yeah, we're gonna get the release of a game, but announcements-wise, it's gonna be calm because they're getting ready for something that's gonna happen in September, which I'm gonna talk about later.
Yeah, I can see us being more calm. I mean, it's July, so of course, for July 25th, they have to release the Persona 5 on dating sim for my birthday. It's really important to me. But I don't know. I don't know if, much of what could happen in July other than a port just coming out.
I have a weird one. This is another very Spencer-focused one, but I promise it'll make sense.
Oh boy.
In July, that is when Caligula 2 finally gets announced. And now, Everyone has always known Caligula 2 is happening. The trademark has leaked, the logo has leaked, but the game actually hasn't officially been announced yet. And I bet you, I would not be surprised if Furyu, the publisher, is waiting for the Atlus 25th anniversary event to go fully into swing, and they're going to wait until there's a break in Persona announcements. And that is when Caligula gets announced, because it has so much of the original team, in the music and the story, from those first 3 games in Caligula Effect 2. So basically, it's piggybacking off of it in hopefully a way that won't lead to it, kind of getting ignored. Because, Caligula is one of those games for me of, it is a game that, without a doubt, I know most people in the SMT fandom would love if it had released at a good time. It's just both versions of the game just always released in the West at just such bad times, I think.
I bought it because of your recommendations, but it's been on the backlog since then.
My plan is absolutely nobody's asked for this. I have my plan is to do the summer of Caligula. I want to play through the Vita version, do a review of that, do Overdose, do a review of that, and then even talk about the anime, all getting ready for the sequel. Most people don't even know there's a Caligula anime.
I've never heard of this game outside of you, so it's
okay. And again, it goes back to the thing of Atlus games that Atlus just totally fucking kill. Atlus, this was in primo Atlus time. This was released a month, Michelle, after Persona 5.
Jeez.
And how much marketing did Atlus do for it? None. They did a digital-only, send it out to the slaughter release, where no marketing, no press, it was just here's some review codes, there you go. I literally, I will never forget when they announced it the year before its release, at E3 2016, Atlus announced this game after E3. They literally waited until the last day of E3 was over, and then John Harden just tweeted out, "Oh hey, yeah, we're porting Caligula."
Amazing.
No trailer, no press release, just oh yeah, this is happening.
That's beautiful. Thank you, Atlus.
Yeah, I've seen headcanons have more thought process and care go into them than the absolute slaughtering that Atlus West did. You would almost think that it was an inside job, they literally a coup. Hey, if we publish this game, we can make it do really, really poorly. Because think about it, this is trying to knock off Persona. So if we publish it and don't tell anyone, then this game's going to be a total failure.
Let's go.
Caligula, man, always getting done dirty. I will say though, because I literally yesterday just picked up Caligula on PS4. I had no idea. I knew it was a remake of the original. I had no idea that it was made in Unreal Engine 4, which is hilarious for so many reasons. Especially when you realize that the Switch version of Caligula runs terribly, and that's mostly due to it being on Unreal Engine 4. Please be excited about SMT5, people. Whoo, I'm ready to see that gameplay chug. It's gonna be like a tugboat. Oh my god.
So we all agree that it's going to be kind of a slow month.
That's my guess.
Yeah. Well, outside of a very special person's birthday gift, obviously.
Yes.
August, though. What do we think, David? Starting out August, we're creeping into the fall. We've got to end the year strong.
Yep. August is going to be silent.
Even with Gamescom, you think no real news?
Gamescom's European, no?
Yeah, well, it's they're basically Germany 3. big
and
European E3.
there was nothing this year from Sega, so I don't expect anything next.
There were nothing you cared about. They were there, but nothing you would have cared about.
But I'm gonna give some crazy predictions for an event that's gonna happen later, which there was nothing this year. But next year's gonna be good. This year's gonna be good. Sorry.
Michelle?
I'm not exactly sure what could happen for August. I'm not really necessarily putting this down as a big prediction, but since we brought it up in like previous episodes of the podcast, I was wondering, what do you think is the probability of Q1 and 2 coming, or at least being announced this year for like Switch and Steam or whatever?
Michelle, you beautiful, beautiful angel. That is my prediction. Persona Q1
right.
and 2 collaboration. It's the final part of the release trilogy. The Q-Mageddon finally comes to platforms people play on. And going back to the Persona 2 Eternal Punishment finally coming out in English, they will finally do Persona Q2 justice and give it an English dub.
Oh man, I want that game dubbed because, like, you know, I was playing it on my 2DS, and like I kind of dropped it for a bit because I had to play 13 Sentinels and Yakuza, but I'm gonna get back to it soon. And I adore the game, but man, I miss Max Middleman. I want him back.
All right, are you guys ready for the elephant in the room question?
Mm-hmm.
Because we are talking about PQ2 dub. And this might, if you don't want to answer this, if you don't have an opinion, go for it. It's just something I always think about when it comes to Persona Q2. Do you recast Junpei? I say
That's
don't.
What I was
I say that you will get more shit by changing him than if you just don't say anything and just do his lines.
I don't know, cause like to me it depends on two important factors. Can you find someone to do a good enough Junpei voice? Because if it's like the transition from like Troy Baker to Matt Mercer's Kanji, I can live with that. But if it's like, you know, Laura Bailey to whoever played her in Dancing, then I'm like,
I love you, Ashley Birch. You are a terrible Risei.
That's
so
Birch,
bad,
right? But like if it's like that kind of thing, I'm like, you know what? I don't know. Don't take this out of context.
Oh my god! Okay, sorry. Really quick, because you did bring up something on like the opposite ends of things. Holy shit! Mm-hmm. If we actually do get Q2, we can finally get Laura Bailey as Risei one more time.
Oh, hopefully, yeah.
Oh my god, because that's what, honestly, the Ashley Birch thing wouldn't sting as bad if it wasn't for the fact that it was the final performance of Risei.
Oh, yeah. Because, yeah, she has not been in English anything since then, because she didn't even get added to Cross Tag.
Wow.
So, I don't know, like, I don't know. I think it's like if you can get a good enough like replacement, then I don't know if I care that much. But like if it's like if they can't find someone to do Junpei, I'm like, man, sure, Junpei's VA is a prick, but I don't know. I think I can swallow my pride on that and just deal with and just accept the fact that I want a good dub.
I'm also in like that kind of like weird camp of like, and this came up with like a lot of like when the Me Too stuff was coming out, of not disregarding anyone's allegations, but like in the weird sense of just kind of like take every allegation 100% seriously. I just never understood. I mean, I understood. Like when you saw all these companies dropping Vic Mignogna for like as soon as it all came out, like there was no investigation period. Yeah. It was just goodbye. Dragon Ball never saw you. Goodbye. You don't exist anymore. Like I get it. I totally. It's just easier just to move on and go for it. But with something like this, I want, because like it all just goes back to it of like no one's looking at Junpei and seeing like, because especially because like it's not like because like just because Junpei is such. Like, he is so many people's favorite characters. And I've never seen anyone, even after all this going on, be like, well, I can't like Junpei anymore. Like, a great example is my, like, old co-host of the show, Waffles' favorite character is still Shomi Nizuki. And around the same time as the Vic thing, Todd Habercorn had a couple allegations come out. And I remember when I was talking about it with Waffles of, like, if all of it was true and everything like that, would it ruin the character for you like that? And it's like, No, because at the end of the day, there is a separation between the person and their work and stuff. Like, you're not going to, like, no one's going to go back and watch Kevin Spacey movies and be like, damn it, Baby Driver, you're just a bad movie now.
Yeah, like, it depends on, like, how much I mean, it's a tangent, obviously, but, like, it's kind of, like, it depends on how much you can separate art from artist. Like I can't do that with someone like Pro Jared because his face is the thing.
I mean, that's a very unique case. Yeah, you're right. That dude's face is like when he finally changed his thumbnail like face icon thing. Like when you finally get that fucking mongoloid face to get him to change his thumbnail, that's how you know he knew it was bad.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know, with Q2 though, I don't know, because like it's also the fact that Junpei has such a distinct voice as well. Like it is a very unique voice.
Say what you will about Vic, whether you stand or sit with him, man. He no one has ever been like, yeah, but is he really that good and blah 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 or blah blah blah. Like
he is debatably the best voice in P3. Like he's extremely good.
He's up there.
David, what about you? You're very quiet over here. Are you ready to bust out your hashtag? Stand with Vic. What's going on?
You don't. Wait, you want to discuss this?
Stand with Jared.
Oh, we got a Pro Jared lover in the house.
Oh.
Belle Delphine, Pro Jared. Let's go.
Oh.
Very unpopular. You're on the wrong side of history, my friend.
This just acting like someone who has no clue what social media is.
Are you? So do you have like no context for what we're talking about with Vic Mignogna?
What do you mean?
So like, I guess are you not aware of like the whole like basically like he kind of like people like tried to cancel him a couple years ago?
Oh no, I've heard of it.
Okay.
Yeah, I've heard of it. I was just being stupid.
Oh, it's okay. It's late. Our brains aren't functioning right now. I know no sarcasm outside of my own now.
Hey, but we're about to head into the good season, though.
I'm not letting you get out of this. You have to pick a side. I'm making you pick a side. You gotta. It's too late now. No jibbing me. I need you to know.
Oh, I don't think they're gonna recast him. I think they're gonna keep it minimal. They're just gonna act like nothing happened.
I wonder what he's done. I know he's still doing stuff. I wonder like what's the last thing he's actually done.
Yeah,
and I cannot spell his name to save my life. There we go. While I look up Vic Mignogna's very weird headshots on IMDb, what are we in now? October. Yeah, we're October, baby. What's going on? No, September. We were in August.
We're in September.
Time is skipping.
Yeah.
I'm skipping my own birthday. What is happening in September, David?
Okay, September is the event that I was talking about. September is Tokyo Game Show. Atlus is going to focus on 2 games during the show. They're going to focus on SMT5 because it's going to release 2 months after, but I'm not going to get into this because we're going to talk about that later. And they're going to give us a lot of information about Reef Fantasy.
Okay.
Yes, I said it. But the game reached climax in its development recently, so I would never have said that before. We got that information.
I want to just put that out in the world. All of those Famitsu news articles, I absolutely hated seeing them all become news stories. I thought it was the stupidest, most non-news thing ever. Of like literally, blank.
It happens every year.
Blank has reached the development climax means nothing. You don't have a name for your fucking game. It is not close to releasing.
That's not a thing. They can be far in development, but they just don't have a real name yet. For example, Octopath Traveler.
The only game that gets away with that is Project Octopath Traveler, because even then they knew that game had a dumb name, and that's why they had to release it as Octopath.
But yeah, I think we're gonna get information there. I don't think we're gonna get like gameplay and stuff, but I do think we're gonna get good information because for now we have like very minimal information on the game. So I think we're gonna get news at this show for sure.
I could definitely see Tokyo Game Show being like where we see more of SMT5 because they have to show the game at some point if it does come this year. I don't know if it'll be at Tokyo Game Show, but I think sometime like fall season. I think that this is about the point where some point like that fall stretch, Persona 5 Royal will come to Steam. That's my guess.
Okay. Now, just Steam.
I mean, I feel like Steam is pretty... If it does come to something other than PS4, I think Steam is pretty guaranteed. Switch, I think, also could happen, though. I want it to happen, of course.
I could see him being dirty little liars, and putting it on PS5 when they could have just made an upgraded, like, free patch. I could see them being like, no, we'll do this.
Here's your PS5 version. It comes with the Kasumi Yoshizawa costume pack, alright?
It won't even be that. It won't even be that. It'll literally just be... like, will vibrate a little differently, and the triggers will maybe sometimes make a noise back at you. Like, you won't even get new trophies. It'll just be, like, the laziest amount of work possible for the PS5.
Pressure sensitive triggers for dashing with the Mona bus, and there you go. $60, please.
Oh my god. By the way, I did look it up just because I was honestly curious. Vic Mignogna has done no voice acting since 2019. He's done a couple of, like, TV shows and, like, small, like, short things that are all in, like, pre-production or filming, but basically anime has casted him out. Like, he's basically, which is a terrible comparison, but he's basically been Kevin Spacey in the world of anime. So R.I.P. Junpei, I guess, is what we're trying to say.
Atlus will bring him back to the dismay of many.
Again, it goes back to think of, like, I'm not saying one way or the other is the correct thing or not. I legitimately think if you don't say anything, that will lead to a better reaction than announce. Because, like, imagine if they announced they're, like, recasting him. Then it would be bad.
Yeah, if they make a big deal out of recasting Vic, then that's just a death sentence. Don't do that.
And it's just especially because, like, dude, it's like the one game, like the one Persona game that's modern, that's never been dubbed. From the past couple of years, it's like, just don't fuck it up, please. Just please don't fuck it up.
What's it called? Just to have every other character talk in the English trailers except him. It's a surprise. You have to get to him.
I've totally blanked out because I was looking at IMDb way too much. Michelle, you have not said a September prediction yet, have you?
My September prediction, I said, like, Tokyo Game Show, I do think, like, SMT5 could happen, and then...
Oh, yeah, you were saying, like, yeah, on Royal coming to Steam and stuff.
Yeah.
I have a small issue with this, though. Wouldn't they announce a Steam version at a Western event more than Tokyo Game Show?
Well, like you kind of mentioned, it would be happening adjacent to it. And also, it's like, Japan would care about Steam. Like, they're also getting it on Steam. It's not just us.
Yeah, it's just bigger here, so...
Yeah, I mean...
I do see it. I do see an announcement. That makes sense.
I mean, even, like, I don't even know if it would necessarily have to be it. Because I could see it being, like, Tokyo Game Show, Japanese trailer drops, and, like, at the same time, Atlus USA West friggin' drops it, like, on Twitter and YouTube and stuff, and makes a big deal about it. The other way they could announce a Royal port, because I think both... I feel like Atlus and Nintendo will both have to realize is if there was, like, a partner direct, if, like, that's where that got announced. That could be another way of doing it. For Royal, but I don't know.
So, I'm kind of like a weird mixture of, like, a couple of things. My big one for September definitely leans into the TGS aspect, but I think TGS is going to be a big outing. Like, the focus is going to be not Persona, even though it's the anniversary or whatever. I think it's going to mainly just be all about SMT5, and they're going to have a big blowout. It's been over a year. They haven't shown any footage off. They're going to show off trailer, gameplay, live demos, stuff like that. Like, they're going to really go out in terms of, like, showing off this game and be like, guys, we're really, really close. ... It's not this year, though. And, like... That's like to like kind of be the like the like wetting down the band-aid before ripping it, of like, we're gonna show you so much footage next time you see it, you won't be mad that we're delaying it.
You just created a roller coaster of emotion for me right there. I was like, hell to the yeah. No. Honestly, I wouldn't mind. Again, I'm always fighting for 2021, but I want the best. I want this game to be amazing. So if it has to wait, it's gonna wait, and I'm not gonna cry about it. Well, I will, but it's okay. TGS is Tokyo Game Show.
At TGS, if they show if they do show SMT5 at TGS, they do have to confirm whether or not I'm gay for liking the protagonist.
I mean, what would you do if, like, no joke, the producer or director comes out on stage and just says, "We have had many conversations about our protagonist, and I would like to announce that there will not be a male or female protagonist choice. You are canonically and only a femboy," and just walks off the stage.
Yes! Finally!
I don't mind.
It's like, you know what, I'm like, I think it's just because Catherine
games published as Atlus with femboys. I love 13 Sentinels.
It's like, what's so funny about it is... Oh my god, a really dumb take I saw. Someone was like, 13 Sentinels is censored. In the West, they have to make...
Yeah.
They have to make him a femboy when obviously he's trans. And it's like, oh no.
If anything, the Western version of 13 Sentinels definitely, if anything, leans towards Okino being non-binary, if anything.
Well, like the funniest part about it for me is, like, and I think it just goes to, like, how much of not a big deal... what is it? How much of, like, a not big deal Catherine Full Body was to most people was, like, there are people who played Catherine Full Body who might even be people who are listening to this right now. If you guys are one of them, please let me know. Who genuinely think that Rin is like trans or whatever, or like anything like that. And what's so funny is most people don't actually know that the producer straight up. Like, in an interview after the fact for Full Body was like, "Oh no, Rin is a boy." Like,
yeah.
And there's a certain word for it. I always try and, like, look it up for it. It, like, starts with an O. But, like, I love that, like, that was the case because it even says so in the game. Like, it's not trying to be vague about it. It is very much.
Oh, like, the game makes it very explicit.
Rin specifically is like, "Nah, dude." Oh, by the way, spoilers. Rin is very specifically like, "Hey, dude. I just wear this because I want to. That doesn't mean anything else about me." Which is like, hey, that's fine. That's like, that doesn't have to have an explanation for it. It was just so funny of, like, that. You heard, like, people were so loud about the fact that, like, oh, like, they're just gonna make Rin a trap. It's so dangerous. Of, like, look at what Atlus is doing. Like the fact that, like, the failed attempt to, like, cancel Atlus over Full Body and Rin is just such a joke still to me in this hay. Of, like, I love that, like, they just, like, took the thing of, like, hey, Rin doesn't have to be popular option A or popular option B. It can be this specific thing because, hey, guess what? In Japanese culture, it is not really that common to be, like, trans or non-binary or something like that. Like, there are multiple different, like, levels of, like, what kind of way people might want to identify with themselves. I thought that was so cool that they didn't just pick I'm blank, because you're either a guy, girl, or trans, and there's 3 choices.
No, yeah, I love that. It's the same reason I love Okino and 13 Sentinels, and I don't know, people still try and cancel Atlus over Naoto. Like, friggin', I hate people.
It'll always be, like, really funny of, like, in the same case of, like, hey, if you think Kanji is gay or if you think Naoto is trans, you can live your life however you want. But just remember, a majority of fans play through that game and just go, "Oh man, Naoto and Kanji are super cute together." At the end of the day, that's kind of all I really think about. Like, even with 13 Sentinels, I'm not playing 13 Sentinels thinking about, oh, how does Okino really identify himself? I just think, no, I love, like, the couple dynamic that he has.
Yeah, I love Okino and his friggin' stupid-ass boyfriend who's, like, fucking dirt poor. I love them.
They are... unironically my favorite part of the game, just saying.
They're a close second for me. My favorite duo is still Nenji and Tomi. They're my thing.
Very close second. Yeah, very, very close second.
No bias towards the braids glasses girl, I promise.
R.I.P. Tomi fans.
Yeah. I bought those plushies for Tomi and Nenji. I'm gonna have them.
Nice. When are those things coming out? I just remember, like, when this got announced, like, everyone was freaking out about them.
February, I believe they come. One of my friends spent, like, actually $500 on all 14 of them.
God damn.
By the way, very, very, like, last thing I'm gonna mention about Rin, I totally promise.
Okay.
Do you think it would have been a shit show, or do you think it would have been praised if, like, Rin was actually voiced by a boy? I thought that would have been so cool of, like, actually committing to it and not just having it be still a girl's voice.
I don't know, like, I think that would have been neat. I think the issue with that is finding someone who can actually pull the voice off.
Well, I go for it and more so think, I don't think it's it would be hard to find someone. I think it would be hard for someone in the world of Western voice acting to be willing to hire someone who does that. Like, I think there are tons of people out there who would do that voice and could do that voice, but they'd rather just pull from their list of guys and girls who they put in everything.
I do follow a lot of people on Twitter who could do that voice. They all have OnlyFans, but that's beside the point.
Is there OnlyFans for voice actors? Like, do they don't even do videos? They just like, here's me doing this voice in a seductive way. I would love that.
I mean, there are like lewd VAs on Twitter who have like Patreons and shit. So yeah, definitely.
Oh my god.
If you want to know about the weird depraved part of Twitter, you know, come to me. I can.
Every time I am scrolling on Twitter, Michelle, and my wife looks at me and goes, "What the fuck are these tits, ass, dicks, pussies, wet ass dick pussy? What's going on here?" And I go, I don't even say anything, and I just point to the top and where it says, because like if you're looking at my Twitter, if you look at my Twitter, it looks like, oh, I'm following these people, that's why I'm seeing it. And I go, no, honey, look, see, Senorish liked it, that's why. It's not me.
I have this friend who's a friggin' freak. Sorry.
It's okay. We all have our inner freak, and I just like how you let yours fly. By the way, I found the dumb word I'm looking for, and I only mean dumb in the sense of I am terrible at remembering this term. It is called otokonoko, which is very, very much a specific to Japanese culture only kind of thing. But it just goes to think of, like, I was at least glad that the guys who made Catherine, like, put a name to it and weren't just like, I don't know, what do you think Rin is? Like, I hate when devs do that. It's like, you know what you're doing. You all know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, hey, speaking about Catherine Full Body for 90 minutes... Are we ready to move into October, the spoopy month?
I think so, yeah.
David's now following Senorish on Twitter after all of our talk. That's why he's getting ready.
No, I actually followed you before today, and I'm glad with what you just said. I'm like, let's look at those titties.
Let's just get those sound bites of Belle Delphine, and let's look at those titties. Put those right next to each other.
Scroll through my likes, it's a scary place.
Will do.
Shoutouts to, I made a poll like a while back being like, hey, does this actually bug at like the people who follow me? Because if it does, I'll stop. And most people just said, I don't care.
Legitimately, Michelle, one of my favorite parts about it is like, I discover things that I wouldn't think are real through your likes and like retweets on like Twitter. I'm just like, huh, that's a thing. Okay, that's a thing. All right. Is it for me? I don't know, but now I know it exists.
Yeah. I'm sure I've introduced at least like a few of my followers to NTR, and I apologize for that. But that's beside the point.
Just you're gonna wake up tomorrow, David, scroll through Twitter, and be like, "Am I into inflation NTR clown porn? What's going on?"
No, I don't do. No, I'm not that weird. I promise.
But don't say which one you're not into. Leave those three as a mystery. You can let them decide which was the one you're not into. David, speaking of putting your freak flag on, what do you do? What is Atlus doing in October?
I'm gonna say two things. Okay, I'm gonna say one thing that kind of makes sense, but it might be too soon. But I'm still gonna say it, and I always have to justify before I say what I'm gonna. And the other thing that I want to say is something completely out of the blue. Okay, which one should I start with?
Go crazy, man. Lay it on us.
Go crazy. Okay, I think we're gonna see. Let me explain before. No, let me drop it and then I'm going to explain it. I think we're going to see the return of Trauma Center.
Ooh, getting out of the like two things.
I told you it was out of the blue. So
I appreciate that.
My reasoning for this is the Wii and the Switch, they share two things. They share their appeal to a mainstream audience that isn't an hardcore gamer. And they have massive install base. They sell both systems sold extremely well. The Trauma Center games did very well on the DS and also on the Wii. And I'm looking at the Switch and I'm like, the Switch could definitely do that for those games. So I feel like it would make a lot of sense for those games to come back. I don't have any base for what I'm saying, except that it makes tons of sense because it would do really well. Maybe you can correct me, but I don't think we've seen any type of clues that it could happen necessarily. I'm solely basing this on the fact that it makes tons of sense. I want to
Okay.
hear your thoughts on this before I give my second point.
I definitely see it. It's definitely one of those things that, like, it's like Trauma Center to me. It's like an evergreen, like, series. They can bring that back at any time, and it's just gonna pick up like nothing.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, because I know very little about Trauma Center. It seems like something that would interest me. So like I could definitely like, I would really like it if they put it on Switch or give me a way to play it reasonably. Yeah, 'cause it's a very interesting. It seems like a very interesting game to me, and like I think it would definitely pick up at least some appeal on the Switch.
Cool. So that was my out of the blue idea. I really do think it could do really well if it were to come back, but again, I don't know how likely it is, unfortunately. The other thing that I do have in mind, I don't know if it's likely to really be announced in October, but I think it's very, very, very likely to be announced at some point. Digital Devil Saga 1 and 2 HD Remastered could be announced before the end of the year. Maybe in October. Cool. I think that's going to happen because those games would require very little work, especially if they were to do a very minimal port like they did with Nocturne. It's running on the same engine.
From the makers of disappointing you last year come 2 more.
Yep.
Here we go.
Yes, but those games aged very well. I played DDS this year. It aged really well. It would require very little work. Nocturne did very well in Japan.
They already got the engine in Unity, man. Make it happen.
Exactly.
Let's go.
Exactly. So it's going to do very well. And Nocturne did well in Japan. It's going to do well in the West. So once they see those numbers, of course, they're going to be surprised like they always are. And they're going to announce DDS 1 and 2.
Wait, people buy our games that don't have 5s in them?
Hey, feels like it. Seems like it. So yeah, I think that makes tons of sense. I chose to say this in October, but it could happen at any time after the launch of Nocturne. I don't see it happening soon though, because they're gonna give time to Nocturne before they announce this for sure. It might even be beginning of 2022 before they announce them, but I feel like they're happening at some point for sure.
All right, you got big shoes to fill in. Michelle, what is happening in the October Spook month?
I like the idea of Digital Devil Saga getting like remastered. I don't know. October's got to be the month where they finally port Jack Burrows to Labo VR, right? But
you mean someone at Nintendo goes, "Wait, we sold cardboard? What?" It's like, yeah, seriously, we made him pay like $100 for it. That's so funny.
Oh man, I'm not exactly sure like what could go down in October. I do like the idea of Digital Devil Saga happening sometime this year. So it's a game that would definitely, probably, from what I know about the game, would probably need a bit of work to be put on anything. But what about like, I want your guys' opinion on this since you're more knowledgeable of this game than me. What do you think of like SMT4 coming back at all?
It's really tough because honestly, out of all the 3DS games they did, it uses, and this always sounds weird, SMT4 and Apocalypse are the ugliest out of the DS games, and by that it's because of how much 3D models are used, and I don't think people really understand how low the resolution is on those 3DS titles. Like Persona Q gets away with it because it's a lot of stylized cel-shading graphics, and literally half of the models in Persona Q2 are already in HD through the Royal DLC pack. So I would love it to happen. I think it would be great, but the thing is that would require a lot more work. They'd have to put a lot more assets into there. Like those sprites are not gonna look good on 720p, let alone 4K.
Yeah.
The porting process is definitely a big challenge as well.
But like
there's not a lot of games that made it from.
It's another one of those duologies though. Like if they did put the time and money into it, I could see it doing very, very well. Just because 4 and Apocalypse are so highly regarded and are such great games.
Yeah. No, definitely. But yeah, when you look at what they would have to do to bring those games over, as much as I would like that, I'm having a hard time saying that it's gonna happen.
I'm dying in the chat because Gears brings this up. Imagine just the trailer. SMT 4K. Jesus.
Yes.
I'm not ready to see. I'm not ready to see what. I'm not ready to like see what that would look like. But I will say this: if they found a way to make the audio quality and like bump it up a bit for all the soundtrack in 4, I will 3D audio the fuck out of that soundtrack.
Yes, please.
So
that would be so cool, though.
So my October one is really kind of weird in the sense of in my brain it's definitely going to happen. It's just a matter of when it kind of happens. So this could have also been a TGS thing. I just sort of spread it out. But for me, I just feel like it's getting announced this year, but it's definitely not coming out. Koei Tecmo will announce an expansion to Strikers. And it's going to either be called like Ultimate, Scrambled Eggs, Strikeaholics, Super Mario Strikers, Sunshine Edition. I don't know what the fuck they're going to call it. But like, especially considering it is like the best, it is the best selling non-mainline title in the whole Persona franchise. Like, it sold better than most SMT games, if not better than almost all of them. So it's kind of like that thing of like, how would you not do more for this? So it's either they announce a sequel or an expansion, but like they have to announce something now that it'll be fully out in the whole rest of the world that year.
The idea that somehow like Atlus and Koei Tecmo would not think, hey, this is our best-selling spin-off, let's just not profit off it and add Goro Akechi to it. Like, how do you not do that?
Yeah, it's really funny because, yeah, you're right. It's like, you can do a full-on sequel, people will be hyped. You can literally just add Goro, and everyone will still buy that.
Yeah, people will buy an Akechi and Kasumi DLC. Friggin', whatever they want. Like, I mean, friggin', if they wanted, like, just do DLC, at that point, go nuts, add the Persona 3 and 4 protagonists or something weird.
Mary Nolan's suggestion for the name kills me. Persona 5 Royal Strikers.
I like that.
Oh my god. It would be like so lame if it's literally just called like Persona 5 Strikers Royal Edition or something. Like, just throwing, just like making it like the least amount of effort possible.
I don't even know like what you'd call that, like, because like I feel like with Japan, since that game already has a subtitle over there, you can just change the subtitle and make it a sequel. I don't even know what you call it in the West.
I mean,
yeah, Encore. There you go.
bringing back the greatest hits over here. Persona 5 Strikers Uber Driver Edition.
That's all right.
Bruh.
We got 2 months left, guys. 2 months to make 2021 the weirdest year in Atlus history. Yeah. David, what does Atlus do in November?
November is SMT5's release.
Ooh!
Baby, 2021. Fuck King Narukami 45. It is time. November 2021, baby. Let's go.
So when will it be playable, do you think? Maybe March of next year? So after that first November release, when do you think it'll actually not burn switches down?
Okay, so Senorish, do you have anything to say?
I don't know. I mean, like, if the game doesn't get delayed, I think it has to come November.
Yeah.
If it does get delayed, I don't freaking know.
I love that in a year where Breath of the Wild 2 is probably coming out, that you guys are like, nah, Nintendo will definitely make the obscure RPG sequel, the big November game. Move aside, Zelda. Get that big-ass forehead out of the way. The big boys are here.
Zelda's not gonna cause any problem to SMT5. They're too different. And they're gonna release, like, Zelda's going to be end of the month, and SMT5 is going to be beginning of the month, or something like that. I
can see that as well. Yeah.
I mean, they released, like, was it... Oh my god, I don't remember the exact game, but didn't they release, like, a Mario game and a Zelda game in the same week at some point, or something like that?
No. Not in a long time.
It was a re-release or something like that. It wasn't two new big things, but they were very close to each other, and they were both first party.
Watch, like, what you're thinking of is, like, Mario 3D All-Stars and the full retail release of Cadence of Hyrule.
No, that's not it.
It's the. It was friggin', just like Triforce Heroes and Mario Tennis Ultra Smash. They came out the same week. There was a lot of overlap.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, David, I hope I'm wrong. I want nothing more than to just be nuts deep into this game.
I hope you're wrong as well. But yeah, once again, I want to stress that out. Like, I really feel like it's gonna happen, but it might get delayed, and if it's okay if it gets delayed. My point is, I think the game got delayed during development already, and we just don't know it. I think there's a reason why they waited 3 years before giving us a date. Mm-hmm. And I think that Nintendo's behind the worldwide release, and I think that Nintendo probably put pressure on Team Maniacs to wait until they're ready to give a release window. But that's me being optimistic.
Yeah, I mean, I also just kind of... I'll admit, for a second I forgot that SMT5 was Switch exclusive, because I didn't even think about Breath of the Wild 2 being an issue, assuming that does come this year, which it probably will. So, yeah.
How about you, though? What's calling out to you for November?
SMT5 being the release makes kind of just assuming it doesn't get delayed. I think SMT5 being that month does make it some amount of sense to me. At some point as well, we forgot to mention this. At some point, they do have to announce the disgusting amount of costume DLC this game will have.
I can't wait to be Femboy Protag playing as Rise.
I need. Yeah, let me dress up as Femc from P3P. That's what I want. Let me dress up as Maya from P2. Actually, that'd be based.
As long as there's no Joker costume, I'm okay.
There will be a Joker. Don't worry, that won't be DLC. It'll be the pre-order bonus.
Yeah.
Please stop.
No, that's what the amiibo
it makes
too much
do.
Sense. Strikers won't have amiibo support.
You know they have to do amiibo support. They've never done it before. They have to do it. Literally think about it. The Joker amiibo doesn't even work in Strikers, which is hilarious because Koei Tecmo is great with amiibo support.
What was the thing I was gonna say? I forgot. Oh yeah, it's a weird side thing. I forget if I ever brought this up on the show or not. But in terms of SMT5 DLC, do you think they would do what Royal did, where you could fight the previous game's protagonist, you could fight Demi-Fiend and shit?
I mean, they did that with SMT4 Apocalypse, where you literally got to fight every main protagonist besides If. So that would be really, really cool, because that was the only DLC in Apocalypse that got people very excited. And now I'm sad because Pi Studio put the idea out there of Scramble amiibo, and now I have to think about what a Skull and a Panther amiibo would look like, and I'm sad.
You do not understand. I would buy 10 on amiibos. That's me.
Were you that one person? Were you the only person on Twitter when those fake Danganronpa Smash Ultimate quote-unquote leaks were going around? Everyone else's first thoughts man, look at all the music we're gonna get, it's gonna be great. And then I imagine the first thing going in Michelle's head, a Toko amiibo.
It won't be a Toko amiibo. They didn't even make female Byleth.
Oh my god.
They didn't even make a freaking DQ3 hero amiibo.
That
even
man,
though that
Dragon Quest needed
hotcakes.
a 4-pack, man. We got robbed. Literally, I love everything Dragon Quest. Dragon Quest XI's protag compared to the rest of the playable characters in Ultimate, he is the white bread of protags. He looks so boring.
Yeah, I know, I'm so sad about Femlith, since I really like Byleth, but yeah.
Never say never, though. Never say never. I wouldn't be surprised.
I also absolutely would have bought 2 Joker amiibos if there was a Shujin uniform one, but yeah.
I'm gonna say this though. Calling it now, there will be a shirtless Sephiroth amiibo. There's no way they can ignore that
please.
meme. There's no way they can ignore that.
I just want to know how they're going to make a Sephiroth amiibo without making the sword just break while it's still in the package.
Oh my god, you're right! Because, his
sword is
his default pose is, here's my here's my sword, it'll probably have to be the first amiibo besides Game & Watch that is multi-piece.
Maybe.
That's really funny. I didn't even think about his sword. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's like, it's just gonna be this giant, like, thin sword that's just gonna, like, snap as soon as you touch it.
It'll just come with an instruction booklet that just says insert toothpick and paint yellow, or and like paint silver here. Okay, so oh god, see now I'm thinking of like really cursed amiibo design for Sephiroth of like instead of making the box bigger just for Sephiroth, they just make him the smallest amiibo, so his sword will look long, but he's like an inch tall.
Oh yeah, I just thought of this as well. Yeah, this set of amiibo for Fighter Pass 2 is going to be interesting because they have to somehow make a Min amiibo work with those freaking arms. There's just going to be a Steve amiibo, which is just going to be funny.
Jokes on everyone. The Steve amiibo is just going to be leftover Minecraft Earth toys that everyone found at Five Below.
There you go.
So I hope you guys are all ready. No one is going to enjoy my November prediction that I've been keeping in the pocket. So you remember how I mentioned that SMT5 was getting delayed? Atlus, in true Atlus form, kind of buried the bad news and didn't announce it until November. An official release date is announced for 2022. SMT5 is coming out whenever the heck you want. I'm not even going to give like a fake one. But bad news. Shin Megami Tensei 5... Oh, sorry, I'll give you the good news first. Shin Megami Tensei 5 will launch with a exclusive system bundle, and it'll look amazing, just like the SMT4 3DS. Good news. Yay, everyone's excited. The Switch Pro bundle gonna look really, really cool. Bad news. Bad news. The only way to play SMT5 on Switch, a non-pro Switch, is you have to stream it through the cloud. Because the development team tried and they could not get it to work on a not pro without it being streamed.
SMT games, they don't push systems.
True, but Unreal Engine does. Unreal Engine pushes...
not with the right optimization. Dragon Quest XI runs perfectly fine on Switch.
Yes, but that was a custom port that they had literally had to work on for 2 years.
There's a lot of games that run fine with Unreal Engine on Switch. I don't see a problem.
The really good ones are very hard and few between. So, but like, let's say this is true though. If it was stream only on default Switch, do you think? I think that would push a lot of people. Sure, they'd be pissed, but us fans would buy it or suck it up and play the stream version. Because at the end of the day, you know it's going to be a turn-based RPG. So, like, even with shitty internet, streaming that through a cloud isn't going to be that bad.
I think that's gonna be if it happens, which I don't think it will. It's gonna be a very, very big blow to SMT5's possibility to be like,
100%.
it might even
100%.
kill SMT once and for all.
The cloud version. You think a cloud version being mandatory would kill it?
Maybe.
that'd be funny.
All the cloud games that came out for Switch flopped completely.
What do you mean? There's been 3. At least like 3 notable ones.
So would a niche RPG change that? I doubt it.
No, but if it like, you're focusing too much on the fact that there's a cloud version. The point of this is to show that Atlus is actually committing to new technology, which they've never really done before in a meaningful way. Reminder, by the way.
Argument why it's not gonna happen.
but I would love that though. Like, just think about like the fact like. I want Atlus to get out of their comfort zone. Like, push yourself with technology. It's great they're finally working with open systems.
Yes, but not that way.
But, like, if it was
only... with SMT5, do it with Persona. I don't care.
No, dude. Like, it'll be one of those things, too, of, like...
I'm serious.
I think people need to be open to the idea that some of these late-gen Switch games... If the devs have a choice, they would rather leave the original system behind and make it a cloud version that you have to stream because, like you mentioned, there are over 70 million Switches out there. So it's like, hey, like, we're not going to, like, Killamo brings up, like, Doom. Doom took forever to get ported. Like, Doom Eternal took forever to get ported just to run. And, like, I'm sure, it runs great, but it's one of those things of, like, the amount of work it would take to get SMT5 in a playable state to run on base Switches, I bet, in my head, I don't think that Atlus would view as worth it. I think they'd rather just do the play it in the cloud machine.
I think SMT5 is going to look quality-wise similar to vanilla P5.
Then on this
game,
though,
it's not going to push the Switch. It's going to run perfectly fine on a base Switch. I'm not worried at all.
Then on this side though, if my prediction is true, would you guys say, F it, I'm going to get the Pro, or try the cloud version?
I'm not a good example because I'm going to get the Pro either way.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'd probably get a Pro regardless just because I use my Switch all the time.
If it's let's say there's no Pro and it was just a cloud version and we're really into speculation.
No, that
here,
would never happen. That would
I
would kill the series.
Yeah, I agree, but if that was the case, I would play the cloud version, but that's the only reason why I would play it. But that's not going to happen anyways.
This is also under the assumption that a Switch Pro actually comes out this year.
Well, remember, much like
Switch...
SMT5, I don't think it's coming this year. So that's why I was thinking the system bundle comes out next year.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, Demi Crow brings this up. This doesn't get talked about a lot, but SMT5, by the way, just like, don't worry, SMT5 is coming to PC. There's nothing in Nintendo's deal that would keep it being an exclusive, so as long as Atlus can literally just press the export to PC button in the Unreal Engine 4 maker, there's nothing stopping it. Just because, like, look at Nintendo's third-party published titles that were exclusive. Look at Octopath, look at Daemon X Machina. Like, there's nothing stopping SMT5 coming to PC. Consoles is a different thing, but, like, 1000% SMT5 will come to PC. You just have to wait, like, a year.
My favorite, what I think is, like, the funniest example of a Nintendo-published third-party is what happened to the Wonderful 101 remake. Like, Nintendo didn't even want to fund it. They were like, all right, you can make a Kickstarter if it does well, you can put it everywhere else.
Just think about that.
We already know that that's not a good example because Nintendo is pushing SMT5 strong.
No, I know that. I know
and they
that
don't
won't
give a
happen
single
to
fuck
SMT5.
about Wonderful.
I know that won't happen to SMT5. I just thought it was funny with Wonderful 101.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, SMT5 won't do that though.
I honestly don't think it's gonna go release on Steam though. Because the games that you mentioned are not big, massive Nintendo partners like the SMT team is. Like,
are you literally telling me to my face right now that Square Enix is a lower ranking team to Nintendo than Atlus?
No, but the SMT side of things, yeah. I mean, I'm comparing at mainline SMT. Hear me out. I'm comparing the mainline SMT to games like No More Heroes or Bayonetta, stuff like that. They're pushing mainline SMT hard. They did on the 3DS, and they're doing it once again with Switch. SMT5 is not coming out on PC.
I think this might not be an insane thing to say. I'm 90% sure that Project Octopath Traveler has sold better than every mainline SMT game.
Yeah, probably.
So, December, we're going to mix things up a little bit because, let's be real, nothing really ever actually happens in December, at least as long as like we're talking about video game news or your name's not Cyberpunk.
What do you mean? Persona 6 isn't getting announced?
That's why
oh boy,
we are going to make this final bet our dream bet. This is our dream prediction. Hands off, Half-Life 3's fucking here. Gabe Newell's giving rim jobs around the corner. Like, whatever you want, that is your, like, what is your dream end of the year Atlus prediction?
That's a really cool way to end it all, man. I have one crazy prediction that I was about to skip, but since you brought this up, I'm gonna drop it. I want a port of Devil Survivor 1 and 2 with the announcement of Devil Survivor 3. Because those games age extremely well. And they would look fantastic on Switch.
Those are like the opposite of SMT4's problem, where like, because the sprite work is just so nice and clean, that like if you got those sprites in 4K, it would still look good.
Exactly. So that would be my dream prediction.
Now are we just doing consoles, or do you think that would be like a put it everywhere kind of thing?
I want them to put it everywhere. I'm always down for just put everything everywhere. I know that it's not as simple as that, but I think Devil Survivor would get a treatment like Nocturne. Okay. It won't be. I don't think it's going to be exclusive. I think it's going to be like, if it happens, I think it's going to be like Sony Steam as well.
Okay, Michelle,
I think.
dream bet 2021 coming to an end. What's blowing up your skirt?
I mean, yeah, I mean, like the dream that won't happen is that Persona.
No. We can't go into that energy. You are willing this into existence, just like my paycheck.
Positivity.
I mean, because there's a bunch, like any form of Persona remake, Persona 6 getting, teased. I think
I want to know something. I want to hear an announcement that would make you either scream or cry on stream. Like, I want to know something that, like, is deep down in your heart that you're like, I need this in my life.
In that case, like, I guess I have, like, two things. One is Persona 6 being teased, because, me. The other thing, though, this is a dumb crackhead idea of a game I've had.
Like when they tease it beforehand, like, someone just looks at the camera
6 chairs
and just goes, "This is for you, Michelle," and then the trailer starts.
And then 6 chairs this time. It's gonna happen. No, I mean, because like, my other dumb idea. This is like just a crackhead idea of a game I've had that won't happen, but I would love it. Which is because of Strikers, I would love a basically Blaze Blue cross tag battle of Dynasty Warriors game where it's like Hyrule Warriors, Fire Emblem, and Persona, and whatever else in a big crossover as just a giant Muso.
That would be, like, honestly, like, if they redid Dynasty Warriors not Dynasty Warriors, a couple of years ago they did Warriors All-Stars, which was basically Koei Tecmo's Super Smash Brothers as a Muso. Like, if they did that with all of their spin-off titles, I think that would be, like, their best game of all time, of, like, imagining a game where you could select Gundams, Personas, Zelda characters, like, Berserk characters, like, just get absolute apeshit crazy.
And I want that game to come out because I want people to complain about too many Fire Emblem characters.
Yay! That's a good one.
That's like a weird crackhead idea I've always had.
I'm just glad you didn't say Byleth Amiibo comes out. It would have been very sad if that was it.
That's what I want. All right, that's my dream. I want Atlus to announce the female Byleth Amiibo.
I like to imagine, like, they were asking retailers, like, do you guys want one, like, as a retailer exclusive? And they just looked at how, like, the Byleth reaction. They're like, no, you're good.
They didn't even ask anyone about Dragon Quest, though. They just decided to not do that.
I mean, yeah. Thank God Amiibo collecting is not a thing for me. Did you guys see that 7-Eleven Japan announced they are doing a lottery system for gold Monster Hunter Amiibo?
That's crazy.
Get fucked, all of you full setters out there. You thought Box Boy Amiibo was hard to get.
If I ever collect Amiibo, I'm not collecting all of them. I'm just gonna collect the Smash series and then I'm done.
Do you not have any Amiibo?
I have Ridley and Joker.
That is just, like, perfect. I love it's just those two. Like, someone comes into your head like, dude. So, like, if I walked into someone's house and they just had those, like, that means, like, listen, you're a baller on a budget, but you have your priorities. Like, you're like, listen, when is a Joker toy going to come out in most retail stores like this? Let alone a Ridley toy.
No, yeah, because I mean, Joker was something I specifically spent my money on. Was like, I need this because Persona. Ridley was a bit different because it was actually like a Secret Santa type thing for like a family party where basically, because I was still young enough to be considered not 18, as in I was 17, which meant like I was a part of like the kid gift thing. And my dad kind of asked, he was like, hey, do you have like anything you want that's kind of in like the $10 to $20 range? And I was like, well, an Amiibo's perfect. And I remember specifically asking, like, I was like, I'll take basically any Amiibo, but like the ones I specifically wanted, like all of them are like out of print because I was like, give me a Kid Icarus Amiibo, but like you can't find those in stores now. So they were like, I remember my dad, because my dad both my dad and the person, like my uncle who got it for me, since both of them don't really understand Amiibo. I remember them telling me that like they didn't get me like the Amiibo I wanted, but like they got me like a Spyro toy, and I was like, okay, sure. And then I got it. I'm like, this is not Spyro. It's a purple dragon. You're close, but it's not Spyro.
Yo, you guys remember that trailer where they revealed Spyro coming to Smash and he just fucking kills Mario? That was sweet.
Yeah.
Oh my god. So, I don't know if this is like a get hype moment, but for me, and obviously the anniversary has a lot to do with this. I think
I know where you're going with this.
Big dick energy Atlus move they could do is that they announce Tokyo Mirage Sessions is getting a sequel. Because if you beat that game, spoilers, it straight up foreshadows a sequel where like it would just be legit a mixture of a JRPG and a idle sim manager, and I am so here for like that to be more of a thing. The one thing I think that would get more people into it, obviously don't call it like TMS2, but what would be really, really funny is if it's the inverse, where instead of it is sharp FE, it would be Tokyo Mirage Sessions sharp SMT, where instead of Fire Emblem characters invading the world and having to like fight off all these different like creatures, it is all the dark, like twisted shit that has ever invaded Tokyo through the entire series.
I want to hear Raido sing Reincarnation.
Oh my god, yeah, like the music stuff does not get toned down. Like every character from SMT will have a musical number, like whether you want them to or they need to or not. Like you're going to see like all the most cursed pairings you've ever seen. And by the way, when I mean SMT, this does include Persona. So like it is everybody invades Tokyo.
I need SMT and Persona characters doing Yakuza-style karaoke. That's the game I want now.
Yes, yes, please.
Oh my god. Now I know not everyone has like played TMS here. Michelle, do you have TMS?
No, I want to get it.
Just go to your Walmart. It's in everyone's clearance section. You get it for a good price.
Just grab it from the bin at Walmart. Walk out. They won't care. No one's going to stop you.
They'll just say thank you. They'll say thank you. We've had those have been our like wobbly table like things we slide under the table to even them out.
I love all those images you put on Twitter of you like in stores with just all these fucking copies of TMS lined up.
It's my one true calling.
So TMS is good. I wouldn't mind a sequel, to be honest. Again, I watched your video just before the podcast, Spencer, about TMS, and I completely agree with the fact that it is a good game on its own. Just people are always bringing back SMT Cross Fire Emblem. If you only look at SMT Cross Fire Emblem, it's not good. But it's just its own thing, and it's extremely good at doing its own thing, in my opinion. I had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, the biggest mistake that game had was just that teaser, just Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem.
Yes, because it looks like it's gonna be like Devil Survivor, best thing ever, but it's like some niche idol pop thing. RPG. It's not SMT.
Yeah, then we finally get a trailer for the. It's a Wii U game, which doesn't help. And then we finally get a trailer, and you hear the J-pop start, and you're like, "This is what I wanted."
It's the last thing that you would expect, and I can't blame those people, but it's just they should stop being blinded by SMT Cross Fire Emblem because they should give it a chance. That's what I did, and it's great. It's a good game.
I'm just gonna put this out there for all the people who might be doubting this concept. Kawakami gets to meet the manager of the idol agency in TMS. Her name is Maiko. They're both very horny MILFs. They are just the juiciest horny MILFs, and the two of them together would sell at least 3 copies. I can guarantee that. And those copies are right here.
If there's still any Fire Emblem influence, you could put Moella from Three Houses in. There you go.
100%. Yeah, it's just the thirst trapped in then at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was a hell of a year of predictions. That was a total of 36 things that are 99% not happening.
That was amazing. I love that. I'm ready for disappointment now.
Oh my gosh.
That was a very fun chat.
Michelle, David, thank you so much for coming on and doing this crossover disaster with all of us. And also for everyone either watching on David's channel or mine, thank you also for joining us live for this.
Thank you, everyone. That was great. We had some cool predictions. Definitely, no, in all honesty, with every crazy predictions that we gave out of the way, it's going to be a good year for us. Definitely.
I mean, even without Atlus out of the way, I am beyond stoked. This is the first real year with new consoles. And, like, I was talking about this last night. I am undescribably, A, excited, and B, equally horny for Resident Evil 8. Like, just that game has me as excited of thinking about stuff like Strikers, Nocturne, 5, Trauma Team, like, oh my god, Gears in chat, Elden Ring, please,
Elden Ring is,
don't
Elden
Game
Ring
of
is probably
Thrones
not
this.
2021, though.
I'm not. Yeah, I mean, like, RE8 excites me not because I'm a Resident Evil fan, because I'm not yet. I have 4. I'll play it soon.
Michelle, please stream 4. 4 is stream perfection. That game is great for streams.
If I can find a way to do it, I might at some point, because it's probably going to be a down the line type game. So by the time I finally get around to playing, I might have a better way of doing it. But yeah.
What do you have it on, out of curiosity? What do you have 4 on?
I found at a half-price books. I found it on PS2 for like $5.
Oh, okay. I see, because it's all so many things. I just assumed you like had like the PS4 Switch port or whatever.
No, I have it on PS2, and I have. I mean, if I can upgrade my PC, I always forget I own the Steam port, so I could. If I upgrade my PC so it'll actually run that, because my PC sucks ass, then yeah, I could do that as well.
It's pretty low specs, even the Ultimate HD Steam Edition. So like, it's not really that demanding.
No, I know, but even my PC can't do it because my PC's a bit special. But I want to upgrade my PC this year, so if I do that, I can stream anything.
Well, I'm trying to think. Yeah, so you're talking about that. Any last like little shout-outs at least to any last like non-Atlus games you guys are jonesing for this year that get you really excited?
I don't know, I feel like the only thing, like, specifically this year... I don't know, the only thing I can think of specifically, like, that's definitely coming this year other than Strikers that excites me is, like... That, like, I know for a fact is coming this year is, I mean, I'm still always hyped for the next Smash character. Like, that's always the big thing for me.
3 more. We're living in a year where you're gonna get 3 more. I'm so excited.
I'm excited, because, like, for me, like... Fighters Pass 2 has been great for me because I was one of 3 people on planet Earth that wanted an ARMS character. I wanted Steve.
I'm one of those 3.
Yeah, I wanted Steve because I grew up with Minecraft, and I've never played FF7, so I didn't really want Sephiroth. I was excited about Sephiroth, and Sephiroth accidentally became my main. So here we are.
It's because Sephiroth fucks very hard.
He does. I also do own now. I because it was on sale, I got the original Final Fantasy VII for like $3 on Switch, so I will be able to play it soon. I don't know. My most wanted Smash characters are still like Danganronpa and Heavy from TF2. Those are like my big ones still. It's a heck of a pair, but
that is a choice. That's TF2 included is the definition of a choice for sure.
Mm-hmm.
David, any last shout-outs you want to give for 2021 generic games?
I think I went crazy enough, so one random thing that I would like is Xenoblade Chronicles X on Switch.
Please, easy.
I would really like that.
They don't even need to give us anything else. Don't even worry. We don't need an encore. We don't need like an epilogue. We don't need a Bowser's Fury. Like literally, just give us that game and we'll be good.
Actually, if we're talking Wii U ports, I still want Wind Waker and Twilight Princess HD.
Okay, thank you.
Put those on Switch, please.
I mean, remember, Michelle, this is the 35th anniversary of Zelda. They've got to go big.
It's happening.
Oh yeah.
Well, I say they got to
go
be
big.
I say they got to go big, and then I remember what they did for Mario. So they should go big.
Yeah, they always go bigger with Zelda than Mario, though.
Mario's so weird with anniversaries. Like, if you like. The anniversary game that Mario got on Wii was worse than the one that Kirby got. Like, Kirby went all out, and Mario got a SNES ROM. So, I'm still mad about that. And 3D All-Stars makes me viciously angry as well, so...
Looks at my copy I bought day one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, David, do you want to start wrapping up and telling everyone where they can continue dapping it up with you on a weekly basis and following you online?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, thanks to you guys. That was a really cool chat. Thanks for that. We had some great debates, great ideas, and cool chat in general. Thanks to everyone who was here in the chat. I had some great interactions with everyone. It was really fun. And if you want to find me for more episodes of the podcast, you can find me on YouTube at DavidCastJRPGs and on Twitter at DavidCast6917. I don't post hits every day, though. Maybe I should.
Michelle, what about you? Where can people find you and help spirit bomb yourself to a new PC?
Side note, I did remember a game, Pokemon Snap. But Yay! Where you can find me...
Wait, I have to interrupt you just because I was doing a podcast yesterday and people were dogging on Pokemon Snap. Someone would like I'm not going to point fingers. People were saying that just the concept of Pokemon Snap is not enough to warrant $60. I'm here saying, hey, if you're doing Pokemon Snap right, $60 is fine. That game looks worth $60 to me.
Exactly. I mean, for me at least, Pokemon Snap, the original on N64, is my second favorite Pokemon game, right behind Black and White. So I love Snap. But anyway, for me, where you can find me, I'm Senorish everywhere. Senorish. I'm on Twitter very frequently. I post a lot of opinions people don't agree with. I've gotten back to streaming on Twitch a bit. My PC is kind of very hit or miss with streaming right now, but I've been streaming through my PS4. My plan, actually, because I'm going to be finishing Yakuza within a day. I was planning on actually streaming, doing all the side quests I missed in Yakuza 7. So you can look forward to that probably sometime
all of them. That'd be a long stream.
Hey, they're worth your time. They're great.
Oh, yeah.
I did all of them.
No, I'm only laughing because have you played a Yakuza game before, Michelle?
No, this is my first.
There are way more than you think. No matter what level you're at, there are so many.
Because, I did a decent number of them, and then the story picked up, and I was like, I don't want to stop the story. I'm going to just do this forever.
Fair enough.
So, yeah, I do want to, though, stream. It might be more than one stream, who knows, but I do want to stream a bunch of the side quests I didn't do and stuff like that. As well as, I don't know. You can always count on me for the random Persona 5 Royal Tycoon stream.
Why have I not got the invite to those? I'm a big Tycoon lover. My plan back when conventions used to not be a fever dream, I was going to make a deck of cards and set up a Tycoon booth in person.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've with Tabletop Sim, I've played Tycoon with Adam and a bunch of our friends, as well as through Clubhouse games. But yeah, also the one other place you can find me, because I'm actually going to be making a YouTube video soon.
What?
So I am going to, once I finish Yakuza, me and Oziak, also known as Adam, are going to be recording a Game of the Year discussion where we'll be talking about some of our favorite games of 2020. And I also have 2 other Persona-related videos I want to see if I can make this month. I don't know if both of them will happen, but they are 2 videos. One was kind of just a spur-of-the-moment thing I worked on, and the other one is kind of something I've been passionate about and wanting to make for a while. So I'd appreciate if you look forward to that.
I'm a bad friend. I'm literally looking on your channel right now. But did you ever end up doing anything for Royal when it came out?
Not on my channel. I had a couple videos with Adam on his channel, because we did a discussion about Royal once we both beat it, and then the Palace ranking video. But I personally didn't do anything.
Okay.
Other than, yell on Twitter forever, but, that's to be expected.
As we do.
Yeah, that's me.
Okay, well, you can find me on YouTube just by searching Spencer Presley, or how you're watching this live right now. You can also find Shin Megami Tensei Network all over the place. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/groups/SMT Network. You can join us on Discord, which is in the link below this video or in the show notes. You can find the podcast on Spotify, Google Podcasts, or the iTunes. Besides Twitter, you can follow my personal one at Torchwood4SP, and you can also follow the podcast Twitter at SMT Network. Besides that, the only other last big one is, because why not tie this to the anniversary of TMS Encore? If you would like to help support my podcast, or just the channel in general, I reopened up after many, many years of it being down. The Patreon for SMTNs, just at patreon.com/SMTN. There's 2 tiers, very simple. If you want to help out, awesome. If not, I still love you just as much, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, that's where you can find me. David and Michelle, thank you so much. I cannot believe we literally almost made it to 3 hours. That explains why my bladder is about to explode.
Yeah, thank you for having me as usual, of course.
David, this isn't my show. I think you should get the final word. I always do the final word. Let me hear how does David end his podcast?
I do like to thank my guests and say that it was fun. So thanks to you guys. It was a lot of fun, and thanks to everyone in the chat. We will see you in the next episode. Hopefully, it's gonna come soon, not like the time that this one took. And thanks for the idea, Spencer, because my podcast was about to be, dormant for too long. So.
Oh, hey man!
Thank you very much.
I'm always happy to help with some friendly collaboration and whatnot. And yeah, thank you again as well to everyone in chat for sticking out for it this long. That's when one of us then says goodbye, and then we wither away into existence.
Sorry,
everyone.
Sorry, I looked at AussieX Twitter and got mad at him.
No, okay, we'll end it on that. Classic Aussie bashing. Let us know what it was and how bad was it.
It was the ship from Little Einsteins, and he just typed in all caps until he hit the character limit, just pat, 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 just over and over again.
And now I will have that godforsaken theme song stuck in my head because I'm not a 27-year-old man. I'm apparently 13. So, have a good night, everybody. I'm immediately going to start editing this and wondering where I went wrong in my life. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
I gotta go pee so bad. I gotta pee so bad that I'm leaving the stream. Goodbye, stream. I love you. You all heard my pee song. That's not gonna be in the podcast. That's exclusive to the stream.
Oh,
I got
stretch.